crazy times, the world just needs a hero to help cut through all the noise.
Well, now you have two.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 52nd episode of your Heroes of Noise. I'm one half of this dynamic duo. My name is Steve Hudson.
Ladies and gentlemen, hi. How are you? I'm feeling fantastic today. I hope that I can prove that over the next hour or two, but glad to be talking to you folks. Steve, how you feeling, buddy? You're sounding a little bit on the low side today.
I am, it's going to be a Dan day today because I am exhausted. I got no sleep, got home from the gym, didn't go to sleep. It's my body's fault. No worries, because today, Dan has that fire. I think you went to the gym, right? And so you have that thing going.
Woke up early, been going to the gym, ate some vegetarian stuff today, man. I feel freaking fantastic today, dude. But see, now watch though. What's going to happen is it's going to like wear off in the next 10 minutes, and then we'll just be right back to normal again. You'll be carrying the show.
Oh no, dude. I don't think it's going to happen like that. But bro, what I will say is, I'm glad to have you on the bus of the vegetarians. We had a seat ready for you. We appreciate you getting on. That's really
easy, Chief. I'm not going full vegetarian. I just had a vegetarian lunch.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It seems like a vegetarian house. I went to your house and it seems very, very vegetarian.
We're trying to be more healthy. But, this whole working out thing, dude, has me like, it's also probably the supplements and the thermogenics and shit I'm taking.
Wow.
But I've got crazy energy. So, yeah,
that's
ready
good
to do this, man.
It's funny. Favon sent me a link to a float lab. I think I'm going to go do a float lab.
Oh, is that the tank thing?
Yes. I think I'm going to do it.
Bro, let's do it together. Not in the same tank, of course, because that'd be weird. But we should do it together and then record our thoughts afterwards.
We totally freaking should. We still need to do the hidden whiskey show too, where you don't know what you're drinking. That's a great idea, dude. Because you don't know what
you put whiskey in my drink. I'm gonna know what I'm drinking. I can't. No.
You don't do whiskey?
No.
Neither do I. I don't like it either, but I think it's an adventure. Is what I'm saying.
I do Fireball, but I don't know if that really counts as whiskey.
That is a whiskey, yes.
Yeah, but it's that's danger zone right there. That's that shit where you give it to people and are like, oh, I can drink this all night. Let me have another one of those. Let me have another one, Cherie. Have another one there, Paige. You know what I mean? The girls drink this stuff is what I'm getting. Yeah, Cherie and Paige, they're great drinking partners. But then, about 3 hours later, you're like,
does it mess with your stomach?
It just makes you, because you drink so much of it.
Not so much. I'm saying one, if I say, hey, here's a tumbler with a mystery drink, and here's Steve's tumbler with a mystery drink. Let's both drink it and be like, whoa. And then we tell each other what was in it. Because I'll pour yours, you'll pour mine. That's a good segment because but we'd have to do it at the actual. Oh, everybody, Dan is building a podcast studio.
Maybe.
Gee.
I thought it was Steve and Dan were building a podcast. See how this... Okay, guys, let's just back it up a little bit. Steve, I love you, but you are the biggest bullshitter that I've ever met out of any single person. I love you. Seriously, you're the best. And 40% of the time you'll come through. But most of the time, Steve's like, yeah, man, you know what we should do? We should do this. And then it translates onto the show of, guess what, everyone? Dan is doing this.
Totally.
Yeah. And then he punctuates it, thinking it's going to make it okay with, I'm the worst. That's the text thing he does. I know your whole thing, Hudson.
I am the worst.
You ain't fooling anybody, G.
But you know what? We're doing it together. We are going to do it together for sure. But it's at your house, though.
Yeah, we have the room.
Dude, you totally have the room.
I've decided not to go anywhere for a while. So I think that, we should totally do this, man. It's going to require you to actually leave your cave and come over at earlier times in the day. Do you think you're going to be able to do that? Or is it going to be me sitting in this nice studio by myself?
No, I'm going to go. And not only that, but I might bring my, I might buy a tool belt, bring some power tools over. No biggie. Mm-hmm. No biggie.
Okay.
I might not use them, but I'll have them on my tool belt.
Looking like Snyder from One Day at a Time.
Oh my gosh. It would look like Snyder. I forgot about Snyder. Oh, dude, I have the craziest story for you.
Come on, bring it.
Have you ever hiccuped, like a hiccup after you ate? Like one of those big ones?
Of course.
Okay. So, all right. So I was trying to go to bed. I had eaten where I had taken like a big old protein shake. I was like, I'm going to go to bed now, try to go to sleep. And so I was like, oh, got to use the restroom first. And so I'm like, okay, I got the bed ready, comfy, got my new bed, new king size bed.
All right, come on.
And I go to the bathroom. I'm like, yeah, dude, I hiccuped, peed everywhere.
You hiccup and you pee.
Gee, it was one of those big, and all of a sudden just like, wow. I was like, oh.
Like I'm trying to simulate a diaphragm spasm, hiccup. How does that even...
Gee.
You're getting old, dude. You better check that prostate.
It was a strong stream. It was a mean stream. And it wasn't expected.
I mean, most people can pinch it off and then like remove themselves.
No. Like it was such a shocking hiccup because I've had it when I'm in the middle of a conversation and a hiccup just hits me after eating. But I was just not ready for it. I was just in another zone. I had my phone in one hand and I was kind of looking through Twitter and
Just
all
pee
of a
on your
sudden,
phone?
Yeah, for sure. No. I didn't pee I was on my phone when I peed.
Backpedal. Nice backpedal.
Dude, it was ridiculous. And you know what, G? Being a bachelor,
didn't even care.
Cleaned it up this morning. I said, I'm going back to bed.
You got a new king size bed. That means you got a new king size mattress as well.
I did.
So you peed on your brand new mattress.
No, I peed I was in the bathroom. I was in the bathroom and I was peeing.
I got fixed on the bed. Like, okay,
no.
you said bed, and that makes the story not as good. But still.
No, I was peeing in the bathroom, and all of a sudden the hiccup, it took my machine gun everywhere. Like when you first shoot a machine gun and it goes all over the place. And I just peed everywhere, dude. And at a certain, I was like, oh no, I'm just gonna go back to bed. And I just
You're like one of them yard sprinklers.
Gee, I was like, gee, why this stream?
That's
it was
funny,
ridiculous. But the good thing is, since I drink a lot of water, so it wasn't like asparagus pee or anything. So I'm like, oh, that could wait till the morning.
You're gross.
What, dude? I'm a bachelor.
Ladies,
so this morning.
He's single. You don't mind a little pee. There's actually some women out there that kind of enjoy that stuff, Steve. So maybe we're marketing you.
You make a good
while
point.
On air.
So that's never happened. Oh, you know what else can happen to you?
What's it?
As you age. Do you know you can
realize I'm older than you, so I may have experienced some of these things.
Oh, I got to ask you. Have you ever fainted when you peed?
Sorry. It caught me slipping.
Yeah,
no, dude.
You can.
No.
It's an actual thing that happens out of nowhere. Nobody knows.
Uh-huh.
It just, you will be peeing and your body just clicks off, and it's a fairly common thing. Mm-hmm. I did not know that until I was just like, you go online, you're like, has anyone ever peed and hiccuped?
You just wake up on the ground with some pee on your face. What happened?
Dude. And so I was like, okay, is this a thing? And it says it's called micturition. And it's fainting.
Micturition is just peeing, bro.
Micturition or syncope. Or no, I'm sorry.
Syncope is fainting.
There it is.
So you're saying micturition while syncope.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
or
they said it's a thing. They're like, yeah, all of a sudden I don't know if it's your blood or what happens, but they're like, they said they don't know why it happens. People would just come into the ED with a, broken nose or a black eye. They're like, what happened? Like,
pee all over their shirt.
Yes. And they're like, I woke up next to the door. They're like, oh, yeah, you fainted while you peed.
Oh, that's rich. That's good, man.
Yeah, you know what? I shouldn't have said it because next thing you know, you're going to text me in the morning and be like, dude, you're not going to believe what happened.
You cursed me.
So what is it? What is pee? Is micturition?
Micturition. Yeah.
Look at this guy. Gee, if people still don't know what you really
You'd be like,
do.
excuse me, I got to go micturate.
Hey,
you could say that. And you would be factual.
Really?
Yeah.
But that would sound like if I was on a date and I was like, I got to go micturate. They'd be like, really?
Excuse me while I go and micturate.
Oh, hello.
Chimed, I'm sure. Would you like to go and we could micturate together in the room and hold hands?
I still haven't watched that whole thing,
Got to get on the ball, Hudson.
I've been watching so many freaking things this week. Gee, it's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely incredible how many things I watched this week. A lot of the stuff I watched something. I've been watching and listening to stuff that Dan actually says, hey, check it out. And I do it.
Did you? We'll see about that.
I'm telling you, I for sure did. But before we get to that, I know you have some
I do. Steve, if I may,
Yeah.
one thing real quick. I just want to acknowledge, hi, if you're listening, guys, we're out late this week, and I apologize about that. I'm not going to get into the whole big story of it, but as some of you know that have been listening for a while, I am not working as much as I normally do, but I've been working a lot lately. So when they call, I come. So, I mean, literally, you know what I'm saying? That's a problem we'll talk about. Steve's got the P thing and I got this. But, so I couldn't actually do the show yesterday. And I actually have to go in again today. So this show will be coming out. If you're listening now, I'm hoping that this is going to hit you on a Friday afternoon. This Friday, which would be the 25th, I believe. So we appreciate your patience. We're extremely sorry about this. I know, Steve, you're heartbroken about it, right? That it's not out on time?
Oh, dude, listen, when I look at my feed, I'm like, hey, what kind of bullcrap is this? I want to listen to myself. I want to listen to all the things I say wrong. I want to listen to my voice and all the weird things that I do with it so I can have a total issue with my voice. I want to do that. Yeah.
Hey, can I take off on a tangent real quick?
Sure.
So, out of curiosity, I was reading something on Reddit the other day, and it was like, do you listen to your own podcasts? Well, I do, but it's mostly for editing purposes. And then I'll usually just give it a quick once over to make sure that there's no, particularly on the last episode, which we'll get to in just a second, making sure there's no mess ups. Mm-hmm. But you do not, you make it a very firm policy not to listen. And I'm curious as to why.
I think, here's the thing. It's one of those, it's a very, I guess the best I could say it is, it's almost me doing like some comics do where they just throw away their whole routine and start brand new. In my brain, I don't even want to, if I accidentally retread something, you'll tell me. But mostly I want every single episode to be its own living thing. And I know that if I listen to myself, I'll be like, oh, I like how I say that. Because that's how you like, when I'm making like songs, if I do something I really like, I'm going to repeat that. But like, I got to remember that I say that word really cool in songs. I need to do that. And so I'll automatically do that on podcasts. I'll be like, oh, I like how I say that phrase. And you'll just naturally start being like, ooh, maybe that's my thing. Right now, I don't have a thing.
So you're afraid of getting catchphrases? You've got a thing, dude. You've got a thing.
I mean, right now, but in my brain, I don't. I don't think I do because I haven't really heard a thing. And so, but I know musically, I have a thing for sure. And then people that listen to our music are like, yeah, that's your thing right there, G. But okay. for podcasts, I don't have a thing in my brain. But you say, hey, Steve, you have a thing. But I don't think I do right now. And I know if I keep on listening to myself, I'll be like, hey, that's my thing. I'm going to start doing that more. Even if it's
get out of your head, man.
I know.
I was just curious. I mean, I don't say that like to listen for like ego purposes. Like, yes. Listen to how great I am. I'm just curious. Like for me, I guess it just kind of came out of editing. And then I'd be like, oh, I see your point. Yeah. Excuse me. I see your point about like not wanting to lock onto certain things because that is totally possible to do. But I was just curious
for me,
because
especially.
There are certain times when I'll be like, hey man, can you please listen to an episode, whatever? And you'll be like, oh yeah, for sure. And then of course you don't listen.
But
what do you want, a cookie? You listen to one episode. Let's not go blowing ourselves now, Hudson.
It is the surprise episode. Okay, we'll talk about it. But dude, I have a lot to say about that episode, dude. About you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm always eager to hear that. So,
and also, good news.
What's that?
I got hit up. I think you probably saw it by a person that was like, "Hey, do you have a YouTube channel?" I said no, and he's like, "Interesting. Well, I wanted to hear more of your music." I was like, "Well, thank you." And he's like, "Also, check out some of my music, and if you ever want to use it on your episode, just let me know and shout me out if you want to use one of my tunes." And so I'm gonna check out.
Was this on our word feed?
I think it was on my personal feed.
Oh, okay. Because somebody added us. We're probably just talking about nonsense. I mean, people don't need to hear this shit. But on I'm saying other podcast, The Word, there was somebody that popped up on there too. But I wasn't sure if he was, no offense if you're listening, sir, but because this happens on occasion. I didn't know if he was just hoeing himself out like, hey, that sounded great. Let me put my YouTube video on.
It would be great for us then we might have a bed for I want to check out his music because we might use it for a bed for the contact information.
Oh, well, someone should do that. Obviously you're not. So let's go ahead.
I'm totally going to listen to his music to see, if one of them, and then we'll shout him out.
You know what? I'm being mean to you today. Let's not do this because I'm in a fantastic mood.
So am I. I'm still tired. I'm still very tired, but I don't want to be, I don't want to tease Dan too much.
What, you got some stuff to tease me about? Bring it.
No, but I know that you don't like being teased too much on.
What are you talking about? Try to turn this on me, man. I'm ready.
I'm joking. Go ahead, handle your business.
Been working out and shit, dude. I'm ready to do this
guy,
shit.
This guy with your barrel chest.
Barrel chest. You're ridiculous. I'll take it. BCD. All right. Let's do this. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I've got some contact information to give you, so I'm going to go ahead and do my thing right now. What is happening, everyone? Welcome to episode 52 of the Heroes of Noise. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to talk to you real quick. Let me holler at you. If you want to reach the Heroes of Noise podcast at gmail.com, go ahead and do so. Ain't no one going to stop you. I won't. I'd like to hear from you. Heroes of Noise has a Twitter account as well, at Heroes of Noise. You can reach me, Dan, at DanQPublic. My buddy Steve over there, Mr. Dan's Got a Barrel Chest, at SE_Hudson Music. On Facebook, you can hit us up at Heroes of Noise, and I'm happy to say that we've been more active lately. I'm a little proud of myself about that. It's one of those what do you want a cookie situations, but yeah, I do want a fucking cookie. You can leave us a voicemail. Go over to www.heroesofnoise.com and hit us up. Right there, you just pick up the old, what's it called, speak pipe, Steve. You hit the speak pipe button and you talk into your phone, and guess what? We're going to play it on the show. And speaking of that, I've got a few to play today by some very special guests, Steve. I'm just going to leave it at that. While you're on the page, subscribe to our show. You can subscribe pretty much wherever podcasts are heard. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeart, Spotify, all that shit. It's there for you. Check out the other pods down at the bottom of the page there. We call that the Pods of Justice section, and it features all of our friends. Not all of them, but, I got a cheap website account, so I can only do so many of them. Maybe I'll juggle them around or something like that, jiggle them around, like I like to be jiggled. Oh, anyway, that's about it. That's about it for me, Steve. I'm going to just stop babbling because we have a hell of a show today and a lot to talk about. So, without further ado, I'm turning it back to crazy-looking, blah-blah, Steve Hudson, purple velvet wear suit brother man. Here we go.
So, we had a very special episode last time. Like, it was... Dan, I listened. You tell me to listen all the time. But obviously, I was going to listen to this one because I was like, I really want to see what Dan did with what we did. I remember what we said and did, and some of the stuff I forgot. And I was like, let me see what he did with this. Dude, it's a work of art, bro.
Thank you, man.
What you did was an absolute work of art, so much so that it took me out of the podcast. Like, I was like, that is so much work. Like, that is so much work he's doing. I enjoyed it, but I had to just be like, oh my gosh. Laugh tracks for everything. I mean, it was, and even the effects you put on the voice. So for you, dude, I applaud you.
I appreciate it,
dude.
Thank you.
Wow.
And normally, how I am, man. I'll be like, oh, stop it. I don't want to do that kind of thing. But here's the deal with this one. I was actually very proud of it. It took me about 3 days to do. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or anything like that, but I think it came out fantastic. I think a lot of people enjoyed it. We got a lot of positive response to it. So I'm proud of that one, man. And I think that it only makes next year harder because now I got a benchmark that I got to beat every year. But I think that it came out really well. So thank you for listening, my man. And thank you for being a part of it. I think it came out awesome. Really, I do.
It's funny. I listened to us, and obviously, like you said, not to blow our own horn. But dude, we were really funny, man. I was laughing out loud at some of the stuff. And I was still shocked at some of your picks. Movie of the year still shocked me. I was like, wow, and then actor of the year, I was just like, oh, that's right. Like, I forgot the things. And it was just really fun to listen to all over again. It was great. And I can't wait for next year's. I can.
This shit took a lot of work. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
You know what? It taught me something, actually. It just taught me to prepare sooner. But honestly, and I'm not going to get into how I did it and everything. It's just a whole bunch of multi-track recording and a bunch of different samples and whatnot. But I don't know. Maybe I won't prepare for it because I did that one on the fly and I think it came out pretty good, dude.
It came out great, dude. And we got some feedback from that episode.
We did. We got a lot of feedback from it.
Can't wait.
Now, I'm hoping, we got a little, I'm not going to really read any of the feedback, but I just wanted to give some special thanks to a few of our listeners who took the time to hit us up on Twitter. We have this podcast support group thing, and I'm not going to read any of those because that's like, it's personal stuff. But I did want to say, let me single out a few people here. And if I missed you guys and you sent me something, I'm very sorry. I wrote these out quickly, and I'm hoping that I got everybody.
Shame on you.
Yeah, well, I didn't have any help. But anyway, let's go ahead and... All right, here we go. I did want to give special thanks to Ryan Cortez, Nana Pratt from Blurs Are Us, Kevin Shanks. He's got a podcast, too, called Nobody Asked You, Kevin. Our man Johnny Bucks, Mixie, Melissa Sloter from Wild Pretty Things, Sean Vernon and Quentin Taylor from Real Zodiac Podcast. That's a new one, guys. You should be listening to this one as well. They go over horror... Well, I shouldn't say it's all about horror, but the first 3 they did was all about horror movies. They did a fantastic one on American Werewolf in London, and that was their first one, so I'm proud of these guys. Who else, Steve? Adam Templeman, Greg Gord, just to name a few. So thank you all very much for the compliments. It means the world to us, and it brightened my day, brightened my whole week. Really, seriously. I'm not even bullshitting. It really made me feel good, so thank you.
It's funny because I know all these names, I go back and forth with a few of them, and Adam Templeman just... he had a certain request of my boy. I'll leave it alone, but I'm saying my boy Templeman was like, I got a requeasy. But we're going to leave that request alone until Dan's ready.
Adam, I hear your request, but I'm not ready to do it just yet. Maybe later. I'm going to try. All right, that's it. Let's move along.
Okay, well, I'm not going to even address it. I'm not, because I'm tempted. I'm very, 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 very tempted. But yes, thank you guys so much, especially all those compliments need to go to Dan. Because, man, I was just the dude in front of the mic. Dan was the driver of this semi-truck of amazingness.
But listen, guy, listen to me for a second before we move along. You make it sound like, I'm just the guy in front of the mic. You bring... I could not do this show without you. It would not be the Heroes of Noise as we know it without you. So, seriously, I'm just from the bottom of my heart, man. You made it funny, and people love your laugh, and they love your take on things, and you're super knowledgeable about movies and whatnot. So, don't shortchange yourself, my friend. You did a fantastic job on the show.
I appreciate it, but it couldn't happen without you. Anyway, so thank you very, very, very much to all the amazing compliments. One day I'm going to watch Dan edit because I just want to see him do it. I'm just going to watch you. I'm going to be on my Twitter.
You think you hear the F word now a lot. Just wait
I cannot wait, dude. Especially with those dope breakfast burritos that you're... Oh, that's right. I've never...
I enjoy them.
That is an inside joke. Let me tell you a story. Let me bring you into this inside joke. Dan never cooks for me when I go to his house. That's the
Didn't
inside
realize
joke.
That was a requirement, first of all.
It's not. I'm just saying, burritos and such. I'd like some. But I go over there and Dan just,
Well, now that I'm eating more vegetarian stuff, maybe I'll consider it.
You'll consider? I thought it was definitely a for sure. Now that I'm eating more vegetarian stuff, I will definitely do that. Are you a cook, Dan?
Yes, we've established this many times. But I do want to say the last time you were at my house, we were actually doing some of the writing for the award show for the Noiseys.
Yeah, I could have eaten.
And I offered to make you something to eat.
You did, dude.
And you're like, no. And I even told Gail, I said, watch, Steve's going to come over. And I'm going to be like, hey, Steve, can I make you something to eat? No, I'm good. And that's exactly what happened. I know you so well, bro.
You're freaking right, G. I did say no.
You are that way. You're a weird about the way you eat. This is the guy, ladies and gentlemen, if we can go back to the Halloween episode, this is the man that washes off his utensils with spit.
That works, G. You're tripping.
He also pees on himself, apparently, too.
I do. I mean, everywhere in my bathroom. But, dude, that totally works. You wouldn't... I still don't understand the deal. Spit works. And a towel.
That's what she said. Oh, whoa. I did one. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, my God.
Applaud myself. Thank you. They don't come that often. And that's what she said, too.
See, that's... Dude, you talk like
fire,
that all the time.
Ladies and gentlemen. I know. I really do. I'm starting to realize it now. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. We started watching The Office again.
So did I.
And you are Michael Scott. You are.
Stop it.
You take every single opportunity, but you're not awkward like him. You just do that whole that's what she said thing.
What episode and season are you on?
I think we're well into 5. Kind of took a break from it.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you right now, though, I'm going to stop. The moment Michael Scott makes an exit, and I'm out. That's it. You
know what? Andy did a good job, though.
Yeah.
It does. It is funny, especially when he does the play. Gee. It's freaking G. Oh, no, wait. Michael's still there when he does the play.
I get sick of Jim Halpert, and of course, I've been watching the show, and now I just completely blanked on her name. Jim and Pam, I get sick of them after a while, towards the end.
True, but remember, the golden moment is when she's like, I'm happy for him. I really hope he does well out there. And he pokes his head in and said, hey, sorry to interrupt you, but Pam, are you available for dinner tonight? Oh, gee! Every time it happens, it gets me happy. Even though I know it's coming. I was like, that was the magic. And then she's like, what was I saying? Oh, gosh, it was so good.
Yeah. No, they're adorable as hell.
They are adorable. I'll tell you right now, boy, I don't know if I'd leave Sister Jones for her, though.
Yeah, well, she left him. She left the show.
I know, but Rashida, I get it. But in actuality, I don't know if I'm leaving Rashida.
Oh, I hear you.
Because man, oh man. Anna, I get to meet her dad?
I think it was it Kevin on the show that was like, I wish I could put them together. He said something. he's all, what's her name on the show? I am drawing a blank, but he goes, I'm talking about Rashida Jones. He's like, she's got a
Karen Filippelli.
Yeah. He's all, Karen's got a much prettier face, but Pam's got bigger boobs.
Dude, he was off and then when Kevin, remember when Michael's love interest first came and she thought that Kevin was slow?
Yeah, those are hilarious.
Dude.
She's like, is that your car? You have a car? I can drive. This is my car. I am so proud of you.
Okay, I am going to put this out. Okay, I'm not considering Martin, Living Single, and Living Color. All those are out. This is the most rewatchable current show we have. Not current, but in the current years. I don't think there's another more rewatchable show than The Office. I just don't.
It really doesn't get any better than The Office, particularly in the first few seasons.
Dude.
Now, I know a lot of people want to talk about that British one. I haven't even touched on that yet. Have you?
Oh, here's the thing. I've watched every single episode, even the special.
Really?
The thing about Ricky Gervais is his take on it. It's way, you know how times where you're not in the mood for a certain episode because it's too awkward?
Yeah.
He's
even worse?
All of them are way worse. And like, he is so over the top awkward that you're like, you're not going to do this. You're not going to do. There's a part where he has to give a business talk at a school, kind of similar to Michael's, but he walks in, pushes play on a radio, and comes into the Rocky music and does a full dance. It's so awkward that you're like, oh, you're going to force me to watch this. He's like, no, you're not going to be able to look. You have to watch it in order to get past this. In order to get through this episode, you got to watch it. It is so good, dude.
But you have eventually.
You have to be ready for it, dude. It's way more awkward. And the fact that
the Steve Carell dude makes me squirm some of those times.
Oh, it's way worse. Oh yeah, it's way worse. And then even what's his name? The dude that plays the Hobbit.
Oh, I'm blanking right now.
Yeah, but anyway, he's Jim. He's a great Jim. Like, he's the originator. You know what I'm saying? He's the original Jim, and I can see everything that Jim got from him. He does it. And I'm like, the fact that it was such a groundbreaking idea that I don't even know how they did it. Like, how do you even direct that? Like, watching it now, you're going to be like, dude, how did they even come up with it? How did they say, let's just go off the top of the brain and just have some ideas? And Stephen Merchant is a freaking gem.
Martin Freeman is the name.
Martin Freeman. But I would recommend, if you are going to watch something, I would watch Extras instead of the original Office. Watch Ricky Gervais's Extras, because that is the one I'd want you to watch.
Okay.
It's so good. Extras is fan-freaking-tastic. It is fantastic.
You heard it first, ladies and gentlemen. Steve has given a recommendation, Extras and the British Office. If you have, you know what? Most of our listeners probably already listened to it. Like, we got the Melissas out there that she's like so on top of the game. She watches and listens to everything. That girl is like a supercomputer when it comes to, like, you know, pop culture and whatnot. I'm quite impressed.
Yeah.
I want to give her a quick shout out. Melissa, if you're listening, you did a superb job on Pop Culture Leftovers. I was thoroughly impressed. I had no idea that you knew all that you knew. And she just killed it, man. She's witty. She's like super knowledgeable. So, guys, I'm going to start inviting people onto the show. Don't you agree, Steve? We need to start inviting people onto the show.
Totally.
You know, we've said it several times, but you got to understand our schedule it's kind of weird sometimes. Sometimes we're just like, for instance, this week, we should have already had the show out, you know, and we don't like to be flakes to you guys. But I'm telling you, all the names that I just listed a while ago, expect an invite sooner or later, because we really do want to improve the show. We want to grow the show. We want to grow our community. So guys, please just know you're welcome, and it's coming sooner or later.
So I also want to give, before we move on, our boy Michael Winkler was on Pop Culture Leftovers too.
Yes.
Gee, listen. And the thing is, I know, because we're podcasters, I know you overthink in your brain how good you're going to be. Michael, you knocked it out of the park. Why did you even question yourself, is what I'm going to ask you.
Brother Michael killed it.
Come on, Michael, bruh. Listen, you did your thing like I said you was going to do and handle business. Much love, brother. Good job.
What was Brian calling him? Brian called him tapperoni and cheese or something like that, because he's got a tapping thing when he was talking. And Brian's like really big on silence on the other side. So he was calling him tapperoni and cheese.
You know, and it makes sense because you are very silent on the other side. Me, on the other hand.
Oh my God, you are a hurricane, my friend.
Dude, I am a hurricane. Wait, how's that song? Who sings that?
Should have called him Tappy Hogan, because they were talking about Spider-Man. I'm just saying that would have been good. Tapioca.
Tappy Gilmore.
Tappy Gilmore is a very good one. I like that. We have him on. We should be like, hey, good to have you here. Mike will be like, I'm happy to be here.
Oh, that's really good. And you know what's funny? Both of us, though, both of us on the same show, all the tapping, it's going to drive you up the wall, Dan.
Just get a mute button, guys. That's all you need.
You know what, Jay? The mute button. The hard thing about the mute button is I've heard podcasts, they'll use it and they'll do this. So anyway, what have you been watching? Oh, sorry, guys. I was on mute.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like, dude, what are you doing over there? But they're playing like game. They're doing stuff while they're on the podcast. Oh, I'm playing a video game. Oh, I'm watching whatever. Oh, I'm sorry. I was on mute. I've been watching. And that does, especially for people that don't edit like you, they just let it kind of fly out of the cannon into Apple Podcasts. Yeah, it's the mute button. You will forget. You'll think that you're talking and you're not. You're talking into the ether. So no.
Save for the last show, my editing has gotten a lot less, though. You know what I mean? Like before, it was every and all that, but it's gotten a lot less, man, because it takes so much damn time. But I could not avoid it last time. It was too crazy. I really think that at some point I need to go back and make a blooper reel, because that shit was we had some really funny outtakes.
We always do. We always have some really, like, how many times have I had to redo the ladies? Good morning, good evening. How many times have I had to redo that?
Well, we all will say we'll get like tripped up on our lips and every now and then. And I think it started off because, like, see right now, like before, like I was kind of stammering over my words, just like I just did right now. Back in the day, I'd be like, oh, we got to say it again. We got to say it again. I was so like butthole tight about it, but it's not a big deal. You know, I'm getting better at like loosening up a little bit.
I mean, there's a friend that used to tell you to do that, but no big deal.
I had to find out on my own. Okay.
I mean, I feel you. Just like
leave me alone.
You had to find out like Michael McDonald and Patti LaBelle.
That one went over my head, and I'm surprised that it did.
On your own. On my own. That song.
Oh, why did it end this way?
Yes, come on, G.
So many times.
That's really good. Ladies and gentlemen,
we weren't even married. On my own. Why did it end this way? I wish that we could do it all again. People are like, yeah, you can go ahead and go back to editing there, Dan.
I need to get a freaking impersonation. I don't have one. None that I don't have any that any of the listeners would know.
You can look deep inside your heart and find something. I do a bunch of them. They're just all bad. You know what I mean?
No, they're good, though. They are really good, Jay. I don't have any. I can't do any impersonations.
Pardon me if I seem distracted. I'm pulling up our next segment, sir. Okay, I'm back. Sorry,
okay,
you have my
full
attention.
Ready? 3.
No. Ready. Let's just do it. Let's just continue. Remember, I'm the flowy guy.
3, 2. Okay. I'm sorry. Once I start counting, G, I click on it.
Got to turn the light switch off like 6-7 times before you walk out too, or else the world's gonna end.
For sure. And I come out with Elvis music. Dun-dun-dun. Gee, you do know on a live show that's how I'm coming out. You're gonna come out and be like, "Is Steve here yet?" And the lights are gonna go out. And walk in front of the table, and then back in front of the table, pose, then sit down behind the mic.
Oh man, I want to see you dressed up like Elvis. That's going to be classic.
You know, that was actually my biological father's favorite artist, and it didn't come over to me. He was like a Bruce Lee fanatic, and that didn't come over to me either. I didn't like any of those. I don't know what to say about that. But of course, you love. Can you do that thing for me? I know it has nothing to do with what we're doing right now. Can you do that quote?
Don't think. Feel. It is like a finger pointing its way to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
That's a good quote, G. That's actually a really good quote.
He just died so young. It's ridiculous.
That's such a good quote. I listened to they have like a historical figures podcast, and I listened to him. One of them was Bruce Lee. And listening to his life was very incredible, Jay. It was everything had to work perfectly for him to be Bruce Lee. Like somehow the stars aligned. Because that is a crazy story. The fact that he was trained by Ip Man, what the crap, Jay? That's crazy.
We need a solid Bruce Lee biopic. Not that dragon noise that came out a million years ago. It was okay, but it was very fictitious and kind of like it showed like what they thought Bruce Lee would see. Like, I don't even remember exactly because I only saw it like once or twice. But you know, he'd see like ghosts coming at him and shit like that. I don't want any of that. I want a solid biopic. You guys listening?
Who would play him?
Get on it. Who would play him? I don't care. I mean, I care.
Yeah, you
just
care.
As long as it's somebody good. Jason Momoa, I think, should be the one.
Will you stop it? Will you? You know what? What about Rami Malek? Rami Malek might be able to transform.
Rami Malek, looks like Bruce Lee. Just the eyes are a little.
Yeah, but I think like dude, I have a very interesting question for you. I know who you're gonna pick, but I think it's a deeper question than what we're giving it. What you're gonna give it. Are we Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee?
Bruce Lee.
See, that's
no question.
But that's an easy answer. But when you look at the arc of Jackie Chan, I think Jackie Chan takes it. I'm saying movie-wise.
I prefer Bruce Lee. Some people like coffee. Some people like tea, right? I just like Bruce Lee versus Jackie Chan. Yeah.
I think it used to be, obviously, for me, whenever I heard martial arts, I think Bruce Lee. But when I got into Jackie Chan, seeing the actual things he did, I'm like, oh, this is incredible. I've never seen.
You'd never see Bruce Lee acting with Chris Tucker.
True, but you'd also never see Bruce Lee jumping across an alley that's like 100 feet up and landing on a random balcony. That is an insane thing, dude.
Bunch of fake is all that is.
I don't know. And then when they show him fracture his skull, I'm like, yeah, he hit his head on that rock. That totally happened. And he's back to filming. That's a madman that's willing to go. And I also love his, he was the first one. He even explained it. He's like, yeah, I realized that if you punch somebody, it hurts. And so I would make the ouch. And I was like, yeah, that's really cool. It doesn't feel good to punch somebody in the face. And he made it like, yeah, that doesn't feel great. I love that. He felt relatable. Like he could do martial arts, but yeah, I feel when people hit me, I'm like, ow. I like that. But I get
hit a lot?
Yes. You know that.
You should.
Did you like Rush Hour?
Not particularly.
Interesting.
Not particularly.
But you liked Friday.
Yeah.
So you like Chris Tucker?
Yes, I do like. Well, yeah. I could. I in small amounts. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah, small amounts.
That's true. I mean, Chris Tucker.
He's a lot.
But see, I liked him in Money Talks, and that was his movie. I loved Money Talk. Him and Sheen. Charlie.
Yeah.
He was a handsome dude back then. I was like, what happened, dog?
All them drugs got him.
Bro, that tiger juice. What was it? Tiger's blood?
blood.
Yeah. Gee, and they were so good together. And have you seen Money Talks?
I don't think I have, actually.
You would like it. You would like Money Talks.
I'm trying to think about it. Like, put it this way. If I see a movie come out and it has Chris Tucker and Charlie Sheen in it, that's not one of my go-tos. I don't watch everything for the sake of watching things, you know what I mean? I like to kind of see what I think I'm going to like and sometimes step out of my comfort zone. But that's not one that I would go to or even like pick if it was on cable. So
you're not Chris Tucker does not rub you right.
I wouldn't say that. It's just I'm not a huge. Apparently, I'm not as big of a Chris Tucker fan as you are.
I'm not a Chris Tucker fan now.
I think you are. How about that? How about them apples?
Hey, you like apples? You know what's funny? I listened to a. This is so weird. We say these things. I listened to a breakdown talking to the directors and all that stuff of Good Will Hunting last night.
Oh, you know what's weird is that popped up on my feed somewhere too recently. Maybe that's why I said it.
So
strange. How you like them apples?
It's such a good, and I didn't know they got that from an old movie, but that is such a good quote. And I didn't even know what the crap. The funny thing is, it's such a good quote because it's so random. But even people who have never heard that quote understand exactly what he means. People who have never heard the phrase, how you like them apples, know exactly what he means when he says it. I was like, that's a weird phrase. But you know exactly what he meant. It's such a good, that movie holds up, dude. All right, anyway, we have mail, bro. Go for it.
We do. We have, okay, this one is a voice message from the lovely Favon that I've had on tap for about 2 weeks, but because we did the Noiseys last week, we weren't able to play it. So let me go ahead and get this one going here. We got a few of these, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, there's going to be some superstars popping up here in just a moment. You're not going to believe who voicemailed this, Steve.
Dan, it's Favon. I actually paused the podcast right now because I had to tell you how hilarious it was to hear the way you set up Steve about contact info song. And Steve, Fave Neff, your only dogs can hear it, and you're working on the DBs and the dopeness and the sound waves. That was you guys are amazing. I'm only a few minutes into this podcast and I'm cracking up. Anyway, I'm finished listening to it now. I just had to let you guys know. Talk to you later. Bye.
I wish I could have played that one sooner, but it did not fit with the platform of the last one. But Favon, thank you very much. You don't even know what she's talking about, do you, Steve?
I do. I remember exactly what we were talking about because you were asking me about the drop that I was supposed to make.
I believe you said something about the DBs, and I said you are a DB or something to that effect. But
here's what I'm going to tell
Favon,
you.
Thank you. I appreciate the recognition.
Thank you, Favon. You already know I love you. You already know Yo Fave Neff loves you. Dan, he likes you a little. Your Fave Neff, though, loves you.
We're getting very close, man. You don't know.
I don't believe that. Sorry. She even, you know what? She wanted to go for drinks when she was here. What did you do? You flaked.
I was never invited. What are you talking about?
I totally told you.
You told me that she wanted to, but what am I supposed to do?
Hey, let's
Call
go.
you every day and go,
I said, hey, let's go. And you're like, I'd rather not.
Favon, I'm telling you right now, Fave Neff is
You
full
said, I'd
of
rather
shit.
not, G.
No, come on, man.
You said, I'd rather not. I don't know her like that.
You're so crazy, dude. Stop it. You stayed with them for 7 days. You know this fool's lying, right? All right, let's move
Next
along.
time, Favon, for sure.
Okay. All right. So we got another one, Steve. This is also from 2 weeks ago, and I did not get to read this one. So this is coming from our listener, Shannon, my old friend from back in the 5th grade. Steve, may I read it?
Go for it. You said 5th grade?
5th grade. We met in the 5th grade, man.
Holy crap, dude.
Was it Mr. Jones's class?
Mr. Jones and me?
Jones. Mr. Jones was dope. He was the coolest guy. He used to send me out to get oranges from his car and sodas and shit.
I used to like that song.
Mr. Jones. Mrs. Jones. That one? Mrs. Jones.
Actually, I was thinking about Mr. Jones and me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Was it
the Black Crows, I think? I think that wasn't song that.
Oh. Sha-la-la-la.
Yeah.
Garbage ass song.
Him
and his fake ass dreadlocks. Did you know he had fake dreadlocks?
Did he have fake dreadlocks?
He had dreadlock extensions. Adam Duritz, I'm calling you out.
Not,
look, Google that shit while I'm reading.
That's not true, Dan.
Google while I'm reading.
All right, that's not true. Go ahead.
Says, hey, Steve and Dan. I was listening to show 25, which I so tastefully called Raw Dog in it, Steve. And you and you were all talking about U2. And Steve mentioned the video where they were dropping the cards with words on them. I know where she's going with this. I think Steve is mistaken. Do you think, Shannon? Because it happens all the time. That video was probably Mediate by NXS. Do you remember that video?
Hold on. No.
It's also, and it was a take on a Bob Dylan thing. When Johnny's in the basement, talk about that song. Yeah. It says, it was the companion song to Need You Tonight. She's absolutely right about this. I'm sure someone pointed that out by now. They didn't. But if not, there you go. Also, Steve was talking about his girlfriend crying at a Prince concert. My mom and I saw Paul McCartney when he played the last show ever at Candlestick Park. Weren't you there? Did you go to that one, Steve?
No, I went to the one at Dodger Stadium.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. We had to leave early and miss the end. We then saw him when he came to the Save March Center in Fresno. And when he started playing yesterday, I looked over at my mom and mom was crying.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
For sure. No question. Go ahead.
She grew up with the Beatles and loves Paul McCartney. She didn't even cry when we saw James Taylor and Carole King. I cried the 19th, Steve, the 19th time she saw Dave Matthews. And they played Crush, which is an amazing song. I love Crush by Dave Matthews Band. I'm not a fan of all of Dave Matthews stuff, particularly after that phase, but I'm with you on that one. Beautiful song. Because it was the night her husband proposed to her, Steve.
Oh,
yes, she's seen Dave Matthews Band more than 20 times. She says, yes, I love them. Yes, I get most people don't. Anyway, I love the show. I love the quizzes and play along, and even did okay on the Metallica one, though I can't stand them. Keep up the good shows. Shannon. Shannon, thank you so much. You're such a wonderful person. Thank you for writing in.
You know what, Shannon? It could have been in excess.
It was in excess.
No, but I want to say the Edge did it too, though. I'm going to come back and make sure, G. But it was in excess. They did it. But I think in my brain, the Edge had like cardboards that he was dropping too. I think it was a thing.
Gonna believe it when I see it, brother.
That's all I'm saying. But Shannon, you know what? You know what's funny? Shannon, I'm going to have a Paul McCartney quiz. I know Dan's going to do okay. I'm very interested in how you do. Because you know it's my fault. I haven't been doing my quizzes. Apparently someone likes them. One person likes my quizzes, Jay.
I think many people do, but people don't write in a lot. And we take this time to do the whole contact info thing, and they don't. But we do. The people that do, though, Steve, we super appreciate. So we're not trying to overlook them.
Thank you so much. No, I'm going to make a specific Paul McCartney quiz and see if Dan. I'm going to make it easy enough so Dan can get it, because I know you're not a big Beatles person.
I love the Beatles, but as far as all of the, trivia and whatnot, probably not. But I'll play along. I like to play these things.
That's what you do.
All right, dude. Now check this out. Okay, now we're up to date. So we're catching up on everything that we received today. About, 9 o'clock, 9:30 this morning, I put out, hey, we're going to be recording at noon today. So get your emails in, get your voicemails in, we'll play them on the show. So before I say who called in, Steve, I wanted to do something last night. I wanted to see if I was wrong about something, okay? Mm-hmm. So I took Gail to see, ready for it? Aquaman. We saw it for the second time, Steve. And, I wanted to be what I said was I wanted to go into it clean, open-minded, and try to have a different attitude about it. To watch the movie, Steve, like I have just seen it for the very first time, okay?
Yes.
So we watched the movie, and we both agreed, Steve, after the second viewing, that it's still a hot pile of shit.
Good.
Yeah, so I put that out there, got a few comments. Some people disagree, and it's usually the ones that are like, works for me, and then they'll put a GIF up of douchebag looking over his shoulder or something like that, which that's nothing to me. I'm sorry. It's a terrible movie. But anyway, I've talked about that enough. We talked about it for the last, I think, 3-4 shows now, so I'm going to stop. However, Steve, putting your voice out there, putting your tweets out there can cause something to bounce back at you. So may I play the next one?
Please.
So we got this voicemail. I think you're going to be surprised.
Uh-oh.
Hey, what's up? This is Jason Momoa from Aquaman. My man. I heard you didn't like my movie, but, can't win them all. I guess I have my shirt unbuttoned a little bit more. But you know what I'm saying. But, come on. Come back to the theater. Check it out one more time. My man. I won't let you down. Aquaman 2's right around the corner. More water, more swimming, and more Mira. That's right. Your favorite character, Mira. He did so much for the movie. It wasn't even crazy, man. My man. I'm out. Aquaman. Going back into the ocean. Eat some sea critters. Come on.
Can you believe that, man?
We got...
Jason Momoa reached out to us, Steve.
Holy cow. And it turns out in real life, Jason Momoa eats sea critters.
He eats sea critters. I don't know. I was trying to figure out, because I think he's not entirely sure if he is Jason Momoa or he's Aquaman, or maybe they're just one and the same now at this point.
Dude, that is so funny. That is so funny. He did the my man.
My man.
That is so Jason. That is his thing. Yeah, I didn't know. That's his thing.
Yeah.
My man. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
That is
pretty
so
odd,
funny.
right? I mean, like I said, you put things out there and you never know what's going to bounce back at you.
And he was really nice. He was nicer than I thought he'd
He
be,
was, considering what
yes.
we've said over the past few weeks. I'm actually very, I'm grateful to you, Jason, because, I haven't been the nicest guy about these things, but you're a good sport. You're far better looking than I am, and you're far richer than I am. So maybe he just doesn't really give a shit, Steve. You know what I mean? His movie just made like $1 billion or something
Yes.
like that, and I'm just trying to get like $10 on PayPal to pay for Libsyn. So,
And I will agree that he is richer than me.
yeah, I'd say probably a little bit.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
That's
though.
about it.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, I think you're going to be even more surprised because not only did Aquaman reach out to us, Steve, a couple other superheroes reached out to us, too.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, so you're going to be surprised. Let me go ahead and just play the next one here.
Hello, it is me, the king of Wakanda. Yes, this never gets old. Thank you for putting Black Panther in your top movies of 2018. You have a free invitation to Wakanda, my friend.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, that is what I said. A free invitation to Wakanda.
Probably they're talking
If
to
you
me.
can find it.
He said, if we can
This
find it.
never gets old. I'm flying over Wakanda. My people will embrace you. You are one of us now. Thank you. Wakanda forever.
How about that?
Oh, my gosh. And I mean, being that he said you're one of us now, I have to assume he's talking to you.
Well, have you been there?
I mean, but I'm one of them anyway.
Have you been there?
Being that, no.
Okay, so I'm thinking that he's extended. I mean, because it wouldn't be the first, Like, what I'm saying is Captain America was there. You know what I'm saying?
Killmonger wasn't exactly the...
I mean, he housed Bucky for quite a while. The White Wolf.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, you just got me excited again. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot about that ending. Cool. Thank you, Black Panther. Real quick. Thank you, Black Panther.
Yes,
for
Black
calling.
Panther, thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Both DC and Marvel characters have embraced us on this show. So we have listeners from both DC and Marvel. So we're going to go bounce back now. We went DC. Now we went to Marvel.
Yes.
And now we're going back to DC here. I'm really surprised about this one. So I'm going to go ahead and play this one if you don't mind.
Oh, no, please. Because, yeah.
Hey guys, it's me, Batman. Yes, that's right. I'm calling into the Hammer the Noise podcast just to say what's up. How's it going? Not doing much. Don't have many friends. Just see what's going on. I'm just sitting alone in my bat cave, twiddling my thumbs. Robin's dead. Joker. I don't know what happened to him. Sandman's still out there. The Penguin, whatever. But just sitting here shooting the shit. Waiting for something to happen. Waiting for that signal to pop up again. But you know what's happening, guys? It's me, your friendly neighborhood Batman. Yeah. Just saying, I'm just bored, actually. I'm calling everybody. Superman won't answer the phone. Aquaman won't answer the phone. Wonder Woman just ignores me.
Oh,
God. It's hard. It's hard, guys. It's hard.
Oh,
It's hard.
my God.
I'm out of here. Batman out.
Star-studded show, man. Star-studded show.
Holy crap, dude. Oh, my God.
I thought you'd like that.
That was so good.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to break the illusion, but I do need to give props to the sender of these messages. It is actually Chris from ADO Radio who took the time to send these out. If you have not listened to ADO Radio, give them a shot. They're really funny. I like them a lot. And so Chris, thank you so much for those, man. That made me laugh. I was at the gym and I had my headphones on and I was listening to these and I was just rolling and this old man was looking at me like, what is this guy laughing at? But Chris is really funny.
Dude, you know what? If Chris has a voicemail, I got to figure out who I'm going to do then. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible. You know what? I'm sure I could do O-Dog from Menace to Society.
That's not the same. You got to be a superhero. Actually, you know what? I'm sure he'd like that. Do you? Don't let me tell you what to do, Steve. You do what you want to do. But
Yes, I can't believe he did. I thought that the Black Panther was someone totally different.
No, I've heard him do Black Panther before.
That is
usually
incredible.
Sounds like this. It usually sounds like this. He goes, "This never gets old." He always has that effect on it.
That is so good, dude. He did such a good, like, I couldn't do that. What superhero could I do? Oh, I know who I could do.
Dude, do the Brown Hornet.
I could do Blade.
All right, well, there you go. Challenge accepted.
I mean, maybe.
Chris, expect it.
Maybe you
Don't
could
worry,
do,
I'll help you out.
You know what you should do?
Who's that?
You should do Christopher Walken as a superhero. Like,
let me get better at it.
Do you pick a superhero and it's Christopher Walken?
You should, dude. I was watching the video. Gail thinks I'm insane because I'm really trying to get this for Adam. I want to do well, you know what? Let me get to this in just a second. Here, real quick. Let me get back to it, okay? Mm-hmm. So last thing, because we do have a show to do. We've been talking quite a while.
Yes, we do.
This one's from Adam Templeman.
Oh.
Fantastic listener. We love this guy so much. And this came in right after Black Panther did. So here we go. Hey, Dan and Steve. Right off the bat, the production value on the Noisy Awards was off the freaking chain. All the transitions and tangents were more polished than your grandma's silverware. Way to set the quality bar for future Noiseys in the stratosphere. Dude, thank you so much, Adam, seriously. Dan, when are we going to get that walk-in? There's some Kendrick mixtape level hype surrounding its wickedness. If you guys were able to build a 4-person band, from anyone living or gone, or undead, no judgment, who'd your lineup be?
Oof! I love this question.
And then he says, looking forward to the saga of the white tapes, which I'll get to that in a bit, and pretty much everything else you guys are doing. Skull, Adam Templeman. My man, thank you. My man. Thank you so much, dude.
Now you're taking on. Thank you so much, Adam, for that amazing question. Incredible question. Also, what you knowing about Kendrick Young Buck? What you knowing about the Kendrick mixtape Young Man?
He's a plethora of knowledge, sir. I think you're not giving him enough credit.
All right. You want to go first?
You go ahead.
Okay. If I had to pick, obviously it's going to be a 4-person band, so we're talking bass, guitar, drums, vocalist.
Yeah, let's keep it simple.
Okay. The vocalist is going to be Donny Hathaway. The drummer, I'm probably going to put Tony Roaster Jr. on the drums, Jaco Pastorius on the bass, and probably Brian May on the guitar. That's my 4-person band. Woo-hoo! That is a beast of a band.
Who's the vocalist again?
Donny Hathaway.
Okay, all right.
Ooh, that's a beast of a band, G. I just put, that band would be insane, G.
Mine's going to be boring because I wasn't ready for that question, actually.
Neither was I for sure. I say just put them together.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see. So is it alive or dead?
Yes.
Well, Dave Grohl's got to be in there somewhere because he could pretty much pick up any instrument should someone call in sick. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So let's go Dave Grohl on drums. I know it's a little on the generic side, but let's do it. Not
really.
And then let's go Cliff Burton on the bass.
Oh, wow.
Cliff Burton being the first Metallica bass player. Okay. I liked him. I liked his style. And I think that I never really got to see what he could do. I've only heard like 1 or 2 bass solos from him. But let's do that. And then what else? Let's see. We got the drums. We got the bass. Let's see. For the guitar, I'm going to go Randy Rhoads on the guitar.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Randy Rhoads on the guitar. And for vocals, let's go Lane Staley. The late Lane Staley from Alice in Chains. That's my pick.
That's a great, because I had a few secondary picks, but it was all depend on the band because I was going to choose, I forgot the lead singer from Boston. He would have been in my, Luther Vandross would have been in my thoughts. Obviously, Whitney would have been in my, like there's a million people, but immediately when I was putting the band together, I was like, that band would fit with Donny Hathaway. Your band fits perfectly with who you picked. That's a great question. Send more questions like that too. I love those.
Guys, get on it. Seriously, we're here. We're waiting to read this shit and talk about it. So, yes. But I think we need to cut it, Steve, because we have a whole lot to talk about still.
And
we have I don't know how much time.
Yeah, I have about 45 minutes.
Are you shitting me? Okay, we're going to have to get going here quickly, guys. Sorry, it's been a while since Steve and I have chit-chatted because we've both been busy. So we were hoping that you're digging this one. Let's see. Steve, Oscar noms. Do we want to do this?
Yes.
We do want to do this. Okay, well, let's do it.
The Oscar noms. Yes.
Let's do the noms quickly. Because I've got things to talk about.
I think best ofs is the only thing we really need to do. All right. So, best picture.
Oh, I know you got some things to say about this one.
I have a lot to say about this. It's going to be Black Panther, Black Klansman, which had a wonderful video out of Spike Lee learning on the spot that he got nominated. It was adorable. Not Spike Lee and adorable don't really go together, but you know what I'm saying. Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, which I haven't seen yet. So I'm sure it deserves to be there because I've heard nothing but great things. Roma, The Stars Born, Vice, and Green Book.
And now, I just want to point out that we're reading off the same notes. He literally put Green Book last on purpose.
I didn't think you were reading it.
Stop it. Come on, man.
I didn't think you were reading along, Jay. The thing is, this was a rough year, people. This was a rough year. They had some really good stuff. I know you would have liked 8th Grade, right?
Oh, yeah, it would have been nice to see it on there.
But there's no one I can... Like Stars Born, I've heard nothing but great things. I think this one is a toss-up. If I'm going to choose, if I'm forced to pick, I have a feeling they're going to give a legacy Oscar to Spike Lee.
You think so?
I almost am sure because people already said, they're like, Mo Better Blue should have got one. Clocker should have got one. Malcolm X should have got one. They're like, there's a million that he should have had. He was just up against monsters back then. Malcolm X should have gotten it. They're like, Malcolm X should have gotten it looking back now. But Black Klansman might get it because it's a legacy Oscar. They might give it to him. I don't think anyone else really... Roma's not going to get it. I mean, it might, but I don't see Roma getting it. I don't see Green Book. I don't know if they're going to let someone beat Spike Lee.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's happening. I don't think Spike Lee's going to get it.
I think you might, dude. I think it's a legacy award. Like they gave, remember when they gave Denzel Washington the Training Day? He gave him Best Actor for Training Day. It was a legacy.
But he was fucking awesome in that movie.
True, but that was not the one
Black Klansman was a great movie, and I think that if you saw the movie, you would agree, but I don't think that he's going to get it, man. I think this year, and I'll be honest with you, first of all, let's not gloss over the fact that Black Panther was nominated as the first superhero movie, comic book movie, if you will,
that is
to
crazy.
ever be nominated for Best Picture. That is like something that we shouldn't... hold on for Chris.
Oh, no.
This never gets old.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Cooper is Oscar nominated now.
It's no small feat.
No.
You know what I mean?
Not at all.
I think it is an awesome thing that they did put Black Panther in the nominees this year, and I think I want to see a lot more of that. And by all means, this movie made a mark, and it deserves to be in there, is what I'm trying to say. Somehow, with these lips doing what they're doing. But I just think that the competition's just a little too strong this year, dude. And I don't think that Black Klansman's going to get it. I don't think Black Panther's going to get it. I think it's between Green Book and Roma. That's just my call.
I don't think Green Book's going to get it. It's probably going to, and the reason I say that is because they're not nominated for, normally, mind you, they've been doing the switcheroo, but the director's not nominated for Best Director too.
This is true.
I think it's going to be Roma. If it's going to be anyone, it's going to be Roma or Spike Lee, because Spike Lee, and I really think Spike Lee's either going to get Best Director or Best Picture. For sure. I don't think it's a conversation, because even though they say it doesn't work like this, they're not going to put Spike Lee in both of them and not give him either. They're just not. He's getting one of them. I just don't know which one.
I don't think it's going to be Best Movie, but I mean, I've been wrong before. And if he does, more power to him. You know what I'm saying?
See, I've never been wrong. That's okay. That's difference.
This is true. He's got a point, ladies and gentlemen.
that's going to be so, now back to. So you're saying Green Book. If you had to pick one, though, who are you saying?
I like them both for different reasons. And you know what? Honestly, A Star Is Born is really good too, man. I don't know. It's a great movie. I mean, there are some really strong competitors this year. I watched Bohemian Rhapsody again, and I loved it. I loved the energy of that movie. I don't care if it's not straight up factual. It's just a great, great movie. I like it better the second time, actually. But if we're going to talk about two, which I said Green Book or Roma, I think it's going to be Green Book, honestly. I think it's going to be Green Book.
Okay, fair enough. I'm going to give it to Black Klansman. So Green Book, Black Klansman. Okay, who are you going to give Best Director? Best Director is Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite, Spike Lee, Black Klansman, Anna McKay, Vice, and Power Pawlikowski for Cold War. I haven't seen Cold War.
I have not either. But then again, you haven't seen The Favorite, Black Klansman, or Vice either.
I have not. I have not. This one I'm going off of the sheer, I hear the rumbles, and the rumbles are going Roma for best director.
I think it's going to be Alfonso Cuarón.
Yeah.
And I think it's well-deserved, man.
Oh,
I really
dude.
I feel weird because, it's like we've been talking about Roma so much. I almost have a complex about it because we've been raving about this movie so much. But it is what it is. These movies don't come around that often. And so, yeah, I think Alfonso is going to take this one.
For sure. Now, the next one, Best Actress, I don't think anyone stands a chance except for one person.
You think it's going to be Yalitza Aparicio?
No, it's going to be Glenn Close.
But that was your choice on the Noiseys.
For sure.
Just saying.
No, it is. She, for sure. But I'm saying here's who's going to.
And do you think it's going to be because of a legacy? Sorry to cut you off. Do you think it's a legacy thing again?
Yes, because a lot of times you don't put someone like that and let someone beat them. You just don't. Glenn Close is taking that. And it's between Yalitza Aparicio, Roma, Glenn Close, the wife, Olivia Colman, the favorite, Lady Gaga, Stars Born, Melissa McCarthy, Can You Ever Forgive Me? No one. And I'm just going off the politics of it. Glenn Close doesn't get, she was shocked that she won the Golden Globe and no one else was. They're like, yeah, you're Glenn Close. She was like, oh my God, this isn't even a movie that people know about, but you're Glenn Close. It's over.
And it's established we're not giving noisy votes here. We're giving actual
who's
Academy
going to
picks.
win, yeah.
Okay, then in that case, my pick is going to be, I think it's going to be between two, and who are the two? I think it's going to be between Yalitza Aparicio.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be between her and, but I think the victor, if you will, is going to be Olivia Colman for The Favorite.
Interesting. See,
I think Lady Gaga did a great job, man, but I don't know if this is her year. If it is, again, any of these people, more power to you. And I'm not just trying to be like diplomatic or PC or whatever. Yalitza Aparicio was really great, man, but I don't know. But I think it's going to be Olivia Colman.
Fair enough. I don't think anyone stands a chance in that one. I think Glenn
because you always, I don't know what it is, man. Is it me or are they always picking British people? Seems like they pick a lot of British.
Well, they they give it to the well-known established too. And Glenn Close has been doing it like crazy since the 70s and 80s.
Should be writing these down. I'll have to go back and listen and get these so we can talk about them. But I think, I'm going Olivia Colman. I'm going
Glenn Close. Okay.
Giving a nod to Melissa McCarthy, who knocked it out of the damn park. And Can You Ever Forgive Me? You really do.
Best Actor. Christian Bale, Vice, Bradley Cooper, Stars Born, Willem Dafoe at Eternity's Gate. I have never even heard of that movie. Rami Malek, Bohemian Rhapsody, Viggo Mortensen, Green Book. Who do you got?
Well, let me say Christian Bale is, dude, it's crazy. You just can't even see him. All you see is Dick Cheney in this movie. It is a trip. And Bradley Cooper was really good. Like, he put in a moving performance. I can't speak on William Dafoe. I know your opinion on Rami, and I think he's great in that, but I'm going to give it to Viggo Mortensen, dude.
Oh, now that's an interesting one. I don't think they're even touching it. I think
it's between Rami and Viggo. That's what I'm saying.
I think Rami's he got the Golden Globe. I think he's taking it.
Okay. Hey, again, no surprise, man. These are all well earned.
They're all great.
If Rami gets it, that's really cool, but I'm hoping Viggo gets it.
Totally cool. I wouldn't be cool if he gets it, but totally cool that you picked that.
So is it though? I don't think it is.
It's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
Best Supporting Actress. This is going to be the one I'm going to be looking at. Because I've heard nothing but great things about every single one of these people. Now, I'm shocked that Marina de Tavera got nominated. But anyway, Amy Adams in Vice, Marina del Tavera, Roma, Regina King, If Beale Street Could Talk, Emma Stone, The Favorite, Rachel Weisz, The Favorite. Who do you have?
It's going to Regina King.
You think so? And
if it doesn't go to Regina King, it's going to Rachel Weisz.
But you're picking Regina.
I am picking Regina King.
So am I. I'm picking Regina. I think she's getting it. And
dude, she deserves it.
I think so. I believe that she was a destruction zone. I think, unfortunately, Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone cancel each other out.
Yeah.
They cancel each other out.
They just disappear.
Yeah, they cancel each other out, unfortunately. There's a reason they put two people from the same movie in that category.
Yeah.
I think Regina King is getting it. The next one is Best Supporting Actor.
Ooh,
I already know who you're giving this to, Jay.
Do you?
I think I do. Oh, you know what? Maybe I don't, because you loved Richard E. Grant.
Mm-hmm. It's between two, man.
Yeah, Mahershala Ali.
But
Adam Driver, Black Klansman, Sam Elliott, Stars Born, Richard E. Grant, Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Sam Rockwell, Vice. Who are you giving it to?
Now, normally, I always throw Sam Rockwell in just because of how good he is. Okay, that said, he really is. But that said, I'm going to take him out.
Okay.
Obviously, you know that I'm throwing Mahershala Ali into the mix.
Of course.
Obviously, you know Richard E. Grant is going to be in the mix because he was really, really good, dude. But here's my surprise one. Adam Driver in Black Klansman was really good, dude. Sam Elliott, I'm not even going to give it to him on this one here. I don't think don't get me wrong, he was good, but I don't think he deserves to be in this. So, yeah, Mahershala, all the way.
Mahershala's going to win.
Dude, he's so good in it. I wish you could just watch this movie and be like, okay, cool. I'm going to watch the movie with your arms crossed, shaking your head the whole damn time. But watch the movie, Steve. And that way, at least you can be in the conversation about how good he was.
Okay.
Okay, that means that ain't happening. But anyway, moving along.
Yes, we're going to
Best original screenplay.
I was going to jump to, because original screenplay, do you want to go over that one? Or do you want to?
That's cool.
Okay. We're going to jump to best animated feature because I think we might be disappointed because it's The Incredibles, Isle of Dogs, Mirai, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. You know who I want to win, but I don't know if they're going to give it
As do I. Who do you think's going to get it?
I think it's going to be either Isle of Dogs or Mirai.
I haven't seen Mirai. I've heard it's very good, but I haven't seen it. You know what, dude? I don't think Mirai stands a chance. I think it is going to be. It's definitely between. Oh, Incredibles 2 was brilliant, though. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just stand my ground, man. I think it's going to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I don't think this has anything to do with a pop culture deal or how we like comic movies or anything like that. This movie did something that none of those other ones did. I've seen something close to Isle of Dogs. I found the movie kind of boring, I'm going to be honest with you. Ralph Breaks the Internet. I couldn't get past the first few minutes, but that's just me. I know a lot of people like Ralph and Disney and stuff and Pixar or whatever one it was. I just wasn't feeling it. I think it's going to be Spider-Man. It was just on a whole other level. We've talked about it, blah, 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 blah. Spider-Man's going.
Fair enough.
To the top.
I'm going to go Spider-Man. I want Spider-Man to win.
As I do, but I really think it's going to get it.
Okay, now the last one we'll talk about since we got a little time is Best Original Screenplay. This one I'm a little bit more familiar with. It's The Favorite, First Reformed, Green Book, Roma, and Vice. I heard the rumblings. I think The Favorite's going to get this one. I think the Favorite's going to get the one. Only because I've heard the banter and the dialogue on it are just out of this world. And those British, quick, witty, I don't think anyone messes with that. I mean, because I loved First Reformed. First Reformed, if I was going to choose what I liked, I haven't seen Favorite, so I'd have to go First Reformed. But from what I've been hearing, I think The Favorite is a lock.
I would have to say it's going to be between The Favorite and Green Book. And again, bro, I think it's going to be Green Book.
I think The Favorite has this.
But The Favorite was so good, so witty.
Exactly.
That's normally not the kind of movie that I like, by the way. Some of those period pieces, I can take or leave. Oh, man.
I think I'm putting it on The Favorite. I think.
Okay, fair enough.
They're going to give them something. They're giving them something that night.
The Favorite deserves something for sure.
They got 10 noms or something? It's crazy.
I think if people can put their politics aside, I think Green Book will win.
But
The Favorite is brilliant. Make no mistake.
I can't wait dude. And the thing is, I want to watch it because I love that. I love that thing. That British, I want to watch it. It's just, I know that I can't just break it up in spurts. I need to actually watch it. Sit down, watch it, and not sit down, watch, leave, come back, finish, leave. I need to just sit down and watch this movie.
The best documentary topic, or category, I should say. I don't have enough knowledge on this one to talk about it, but I've heard so much about Free Solo. I really want to see that movie, and I just didn't get a chance to see it when it was in theaters. But I'm really surprised. The reason that I'm bringing this up is that Minding the Gap is in that. I'm not surprised that it's in it. I'm happy for them. You know what I mean? I think that Bing Liu did a fantastic job with this movie, dude. Like, and the amount of work that he put into it all those years, and being able to, yes. So I would really like to see, even though Free Solo I hear is incredible, I would like to see Minding the Gap get this, because this just came from this movie came. Not that they all don't, but this one was his life. Like, this came from his heart. This came from his friends, his family around him, and this came from a struggle that he lived through, his entire life. I think that this movie should get it. I would love to see that happen. Will it? I don't know, but I think it should.
I already know who's going to get it for sure. I'm
Free
putting
Solo?
my stake. Oh, dude, it's not close. Because of what they had to. No, it's just I read about it and what they had to do to film it. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
remember when they were
I've heard
filming
all
it
about
at Yosemite?
Yes.
It was a big deal. And I was like,
no, I
that's
don't actually.
Oh.
I don't remember. Was like in the papers or something? I don't remember.
It was like in they were talking about, there's a film crew or whatever.
Yeah.
That's insane. Because they had to be up there. Now, I didn't think it was going to be like Oscar nominated, but they were filming.
I can't speak for it. I just hear it's incredible, and I want to see it in IMAX. So hopefully if it wins, hopefully it'll come back to IMAX, because that's how I want to see it. I don't really want to watch it on my big screen TV. But as far as heart goes, you know what? I'm just speaking out of my ass because I've seen Minding the Gap, and I love that movie so much. But it's anybody's guess on this one. But Free Solo, that's what you're staking in the sand? That's what you're doing?
But also, I didn't really dig Minding the Gap.
Okay.
Which is, but I do like the fact that he did all that work. The work was crazy. It's just, it didn't touch me like it. Everyone else really just was like,
somehow we didn't talk about that one. It was weird how we sort of skipped over.
Yeah, I was just like, it was fine. It was a fine documentary, but for me, and the thing is, I'm not going to watch Free Solo only because I know which is a gross thing for me to say. Maybe it's the horror fan in me. I know what doesn't happen. So,
but the thing is that I hear this movie, I've heard multiple podcasts talk about this movie, and I hear that the way that it's filmed, you still get that anxiety. Yeah. And that's something to be said. Even like you're saying, what doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But to be able to create that level of anxiety visually and know that the outcome is not going to be that way, that says something to me. I don't know. I really can't comment on this topic at all, man. This category is a little bit off of my radar. Again, I'd like to see Minding the Gap win just for the sake of how much heart this kid put into it. But I have a feeling Free Solo will be the one that takes it.
Now, for importance, I'd want RBG to win. I mean, for the importance, I would love for her to win, but I think it's going to be Free Solo.
That ain't happening, kid. It's going to be Free Solo.
But, dude, listen. I mean, when you watch Free Solo, tell me how it is. Tell me how it is.
Okay. I will invite you over to watch it. How's that?
That'll be fun. That means we could just totally talk while it's on because we know the ending.
Yeah.
He makes it.
We know what's not happening, like you said.
We know he made it. Now, you know what would have been the smart thing? The smart thing would have been for him to kind of stay undercover after the movie. No one knows where he is. And then people would be like, oh, snap. We got to watch this movie, did he? Like him just disappearing. Then people would watch it. But I've seen it. He's okay.
You're sick.
No, I'm saying. But you can't. I know it's an amazing feat you're doing. I know for a fact it's a crazy feat. The fact that you're doing this is insane. That's true. But you can't be okay at the end of the movie and expect that there's going to be like, I am very anxious this whole movie. Why? When I know, but he's straight. It's like me watching a movie with you and you being like, so Steve, I fight this shark. You're never going to believe what happens. I'll be like, I can believe it because you're sitting next to me. I know exactly what happens. Apparently you win or you get away somehow.
You are being so Steve Hudson about this right now. It's ridiculous.
How do you mean?
I don't know. You're just quick to write things off.
No, I know it's going to be good.
And then like 8 months later, you'd be like, that's really good.
No, I know it's a good movie, but it's not going to be anxiety. I'll just be like, here's what I know I'll say. That is a beautiful movie. It is beautifully shot, seeing Yosemite and, gorgeous. And they'll be like, were you anxious? I'll say no, because I know the ending of this movie, but it is beautiful. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be
just saying, like, not a skosh. I was not anxious at all.
No.
I just think that there's something to that. I don't think that we would get that if we were watching it at the house. But I think that if we were to go see this in IMAX,
for sure,
there's just something about, are you afraid of heights?
No.
You're not?
No.
I, for some reason, thought you were. But I think that if people that are afraid of heights, they get that involuntary anxiety. It just happens. You know what I mean? The way things are shot. Yes. I can totally get down with that. So I don't know, man. I think that let's move on.
Okay. I can't wait. But I do. Truthfully, I hope. I really look forward to The reason I think it's going to win and I think it should win is because it is a feat. During the shooting, I'm sure they didn't know what was going to happen. So for them to actually do that is amazing. So they should win it. That's an amazing thing to do. That's incredible.
Okay.
So that's dope.
There it is.
So for sure. Now, who do you think was snubbed, in your opinion?
Hold on a second.
I know who I think was snubbed. I don't care. I know you're not going to agree, but I don't care. I think there were some snubs up in this piece.
Snubs as far as what? Are we talking best picture, best actor, actress? What are we talking about?
Whichever one, any of them. I'm going to just do best actor.
I think that for best picture, for best actor?
I know, yes.
Well, let me go to the list real quick just to make sure I don't want to miss anybody. Speak out of turn. Best actor, honestly, man, I don't really feel anyone was snubbed.
Neither do I. I mean, because the thing is, I do. I forgot. I was literally about to tell you who I thought was snubbed.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Tyree Henry.
That would be more of a best supporting actor.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying of any of them. Because remember, I was like, best supporting movie, any of them. Who do you think
okay. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. The little Skype thing. I'm just going to tell you that I think that for best picture, I think that if Beale Street Could Talk should have been in the mix.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah.
That's totally fair. And
I also think that for best actress, we should have seen Elsie Fisher in there. I think that she did a wonderful job on that. I know there was a lot. There was like Toni Collette. I know how you feel about Hereditary. I did not see First Man. Emily Blunt did a great job in Mary Poppins Returns, but I don't think that I think that she's right where she needs to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then Charlize Theron and Tully, she was really good too. But again, I think that their choices are strong, man. I do kind of think that Lady Gaga was given it because even though she was incredible in the movie, I think that if she got dropped out of that movie, it wouldn't have been okay. Or excuse me, out of the category, I don't think it would have been that big of a deal. There, I said it. It's a good movie, dude. No, it's good. And I think it was more of how, oh, wow, she can really act. And she's very convincing. But, hers was a whole performance thing. And it's
she was in her bag, dude.
She was in her bag, yeah.
Yeah,
but if they were to say Lady Gaga didn't, put it this way, if she was in the snubs list, I'd be like, oh, okay, I can kind of see that.
Totally cool. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
I don't think I don't know why I'm like dancing around my words, but it is what it is.
I mean, here's what I'll say. Having not seen the movie, and so this is a very Steve thing to do. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you now that I'm going to watch the Glenn Close movie because I don't think I miss Glenn Close movies. I normally, make it a point to watch them. I can guarantee she acted circles around Lady Gaga. I can tell you this now. Because Glenn Close disappears into everything she does. She disappears. She even did a good job in a zombie show. She disappears into stuff.
You know who was raving about that movie recently was Jeff Kanata. On the Slash
I normally agree with him. I normally agree with Jeff Kanata. But I've never heard of the wife, though.
Yeah.
I wish I could say that but I've never heard of this movie.
Well, there are certain movies that we get a lot of movies in Fresno, believe it or not. You know what I mean? Well, sometimes they're a little bit late, but we do get them.
Yes.
But the wife did not make an appearance here. I don't think
it's gone because we are a test city. So normally they'll put, like Beale Street, we were one of the test cities. Before it went wide, we got it. Remember when it hit that, like, now it's going to be in these cities and there was like a list of 20. We were one of them. And so I think we're going to get
Oh, it'll happen. Matter of fact, they're doing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but there is Regal is actually selling a pass. I think it's for like $35. And I'm not sure if that one's in it, but it's like all of the Oscar noms.
Dude. Regal,
like
see, that's a
film festival.
That means, you know what? Does Regal work at Manchester?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
That's a Regal theater. Oh, Clovis is in a Regal theater.
I believe that is too.
Dan, don't argue with me.
I'm going to tell you right now. So 7 movies included in this pass. It is Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Stars Born, and Vice. So no, it's not on there. I take it all back.
I do want to see Stars Born. I do want to see Black Klansman, but I have it. I don't know if the other ones I could just wait for though. So I don't know if I'd pay $30. You know what's funny to me?
What's that?
The funny thing is, no, here's what I'll be mad at. If I'm not right on any of them, I will be very upset because I think I have the ear to the street and this is going to really hit my ego if I'm wrong on everything. I'm going to be very mad. I'm letting you know.
You'll be okay.
No, I won't because my ear's to the street, Dan.
Listen, if you fall on your ass, you dust yourself off, you keep on walking. That's all I'm saying. You're going to be okay, buddy.
Just keep on walking. You get that?
Yeah.
Walking?
This guy, he's making jokes. It's not ready yet, dude. It's like when you're looking it's like when you're looking at a cake in the oven, right? And you're like, oh, I can see what's going to happen here. It's going to be a nice looking cake, but the cake's not done yet. So I'm not ready to unleash.
It's so close though, Dan.
It's almost there. It's just not, it's not ready.
Fair enough. Now that we talk, please send us your thoughts and your choices as far as the Oscar nomination. Tell us if you think something's been snubbed that we haven't talked about. Leave a voicemail. You could even leave the voicemail as the character from the movie. We'd actually prefer that. And
that would be better.
That would be great. Leave it as a character, or you leave it as a superhero leaving your opinion. Either one, we really would love to hear your voicemail, so please leave it. Now,
excellent suggestion, Steve.
So Dan, you've been watching some stuff this week and listening to some stuff this week.
I have. I have indeed. Okay, so I was going to talk about a few things more than I'm able to talk about now. I know you have a heart out, so I'm going to have to omit some of those, okay? But first, I do want to give a nod to the show on Netflix, Sex Education, Steve. Our listener, Ryan Cortez, told me to watch that, and I started watching it. It's really funny, first of all. Have you heard of this one?
I have.
It's the British comedy drama web television series created by Laurie Nunn that premiered on January 11th, 2019. It's on Netflix, stars Gillian Anderson. I believe, is it Asa or Asa Butterfield? I think it's Asa. Or am I thinking of Asa Akira for other reasons? But anyway, Asa Butterfield.
Wow, that is a throwback.
I'm just saying.
Mercy.
I'll throw it back.
She's like 98 years old. Go ahead.
No, she's not. She's pregnant. But someone told me. Anyway, Emma Mackey, Nakuti Gatwa, Connor Swindles, and then Keter Williams Sterling are in this here. I really want to talk about this one, but I will tell you guys, check this one out. It's really funny. Gillian Anderson plays a sex therapist, and her son is Asa Butterfield. And the comedy off this is it's like that shocking kind of comedy. You know what I mean? There's certain things on here like, oh, I did not expect that to happen. It's really kind of graphic. I almost made the mistake of watching this one at the gym, and the first 5 minutes will tell you right off the bat, you should not watch this at the gym or watch this in public. It's not safe for work. Sex Education should say it all. But I think it's great so far. I'm 3 episodes in. I will come back and talk about this one because I'm really enjoying it. I just have other things to talk about. So Sex Education was one of the things I was watching. Not prepared to rate this one just yet, sir. Okay?
Okay.
Now, there was something that I watched on YouTube. I actually went back and got my YouTube premium account again because there is something on there right now, sir, that I was going to tell you about it, but I knew you wouldn't watch it, and I think that you should. I'm going to strongly suggest this, okay?
Yeah. Sure.
I was kind of late to the party on this one, but not that late because it just premiered. And what I'm talking about is from creator Sean Simmons. Actually, from the creators also of Deadpool, by the way, and it's got a vibe there that's, I wouldn't say it's matching Deadpool, but you can kind of see what we're getting at here. The show I'm talking about, Steve, is Wayne. What it is, basically, I like what they say here. It says, he's a second-generation socially awkward bully of bullies with a heart of gold. He decides to take an unplanned road trip to Florida with his new friend Dell to get back his father's Trans Am that his mother stole when she left them. With limited resources and nothing but the name of the city he thinks the car is in, he and Dell face hilarious and heartfelt situations on their travels together down the eastern seaboard. I'm going to tell you right now, dude, that this is as good as it gets. I mean, it is so fucking good. I've been watching it all week. I've been falling asleep at night, like early. So I have my busy day and then I go home, go to the gym or whatever. And I come back and I start watching these and I'm like, oh, I got to stay up and watch it because it's so good. But this is some of the most, I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's the best thing on YouTube Premium right now. Out of everything that I've seen, it is by far the best. It's so well written. Mark McKenna plays Wayne and he's just this very dry. He rarely ever makes a different face. He's just this one character, super violent. This kid is all about justice, and he doesn't, when he sees something that's wrong going on in the world, he just tackles it right away. And the way that he does it sometimes is just so crazy. But his love interest in the show is Sierra Bravo. She plays Dell. She is wonderful in this, man. I think that the two of these two together make this deadly combination, and the show is just so goddamn funny, and at the same time, it's adorable. Like the love that they have is something that it's still being established, if you will, but it's there. You can see it. You can see where it's going. Sometimes you can see where it's going, but they just have this great chemistry on screen, and I love it so much, man. But there's some other key characters in this that just makes it crazy. Joshua J. Williams, who plays Orlando, is Wayne's best friend. He's really funny. He doesn't have enough time on the show, but he's great. But let's talk about Dean Winters. Dean Winters plays Dell's dad on this, and he's got that Boston. You know, he's from. They're all from Boston. And they just, yeah, fucker, you know, you get in your car, you know, they just have that thing. But he is like, you can see, and I'm not going to say why, but you can see that he was once a different person, and there's some shit that goes down that turns him into a very bittered person. Okay. I don't want to give too much away about this one, guys, because it's something that I think you guys should see on the whole, as opposed to allowing me to tell you what it's about. But the change that occurs in him and the way that he is now, in combination with his two sons, he has these twins, Carl and Teddy. They're played by John Champagne and Jamie Champagne. These guys are hilarious, man. And the three of them together are just some of the most comical gold that I've seen on television for a long time. It's crude. It's not something, again, that you really want to watch in public, at least out loud. There's really nothing graphic on there so much, unless you want to consider violence as one of those things, but they're just great, man. Like everyone, Mike O'Malley, who plays Principal Cole, is a great character. He's this, he's got a soft spot for Wayne, even though Wayne's the kid that he's the stuff of urban legend. It's like, I heard he killed a man in a house. You know, he's that kind of guy. There's all these like folklore stories about him and everything. And for the most part, some of it may be true. You know what I mean? But all the kids are afraid of him. Everyone's afraid of Wayne. But Principal Cole is not, and he finds something very endearing about him. Actually, he knew his dad as well, who was another like bully guy, and he used to get his ass kicked by him all the time. But even that doesn't really stop him from having this soft spot for Wayne and what he goes through in the story, and follows Wayne on this trip. It just makes for just such great television, dude. I can't talk about this one enough, and I really want. I think I could go on and on and on about this one, particularly if you had seen it, but I'm just going to stop right there and tell you guys that you absolutely need to be watching Wayne. Seriously, some of the best television I've seen in a very long time. And it's got an amazing soundtrack too. I like the heavy stuff, and they're like, the soundtrack goes all over the place, but it has a lot of like, now I don't think you know this band, Steve, but there's a band called The Sword that's in it. They're like kind of like a stoner metal, if you will, kind of like a heavier kind of stoner rock. That's the best way I can put it. But The Sword is great. I've listened to them for years. There's another band on there that I was really surprised to hear by the name of The Refused. They're this like Swedish punk rock band that came out about, they've been around for over 20 years now, but they have this one song called New Noise that when it pops up, I don't care what time frame you're in, it's always just this amazing song. And whatever you put it in, there's going to be really good action. And I was really happy that they put that one in. And then, of course, I talked about it a few shows back, Steve, Dr. Hook. You know what I'm talking about, with a little bit of Dr. Hook sharing the night together. That song shows up in the show too, and the way that they do that is not the way you would expect it to. And it's I like when they put a real sweet song over something that's not so sweet, and it just has this weird contrast. Again, I'm going to let you people figure that out. But guys, by all means, get yourself a free subscription, a monthly. It's like, I think you can get a free month if you just go on there. In fact, I know you can get a free month by just trialing it out. And then, you know, if you don't like it, cancel it out. You could literally cancel it right after you subscribe for it, and you'll still have the month. Now's the time to do that. Go watch Wayne, and since, you know, you're going to do so, make sure you're watching Cobra Kai too. But Wayne's what we're talking about. It is awesome. Again, it's from creator Sean Simmons, and I think you guys are going to absolutely love this one. Rating on this one, sir, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4.5 out of 5 hammers. And that's, and you guys, when you watch it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But that's it for me on Wayne. So very, very good. Strongly recommend you guys watch this one.
Dean Winters has a Goodwill Hunting connection too.
How so?
You know, you like them apples? How you like them apples?
Is he? No, he's not. Oh, wait, is that his brother?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can see that. What's that guy's name? I mean, once you said it, it makes perfect sense, but I don't know the guy's name.
And he played his brother on Oz.
Okay.
Yep.
Dean Winters is great, dude.
He's great, dude. He
There's something that happened.
Commercials.
Yes. I was actually surprised. I'm like, oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, it's really good money. And they show it all the time. But there's something that happens to his character. They just call him Daddy on the show. But there's something that happens to him that is just like, it makes your toes curl, like, oh my God, when it happens. But he carries on, and it happens right at the beginning. Matter of fact, you know what? You can watch the first episode for free on YouTube with no subscription whatsoever. Watch that episode. I guarantee you're going to want to get a free subscription to this for a month because it is absolutely worth it. There's 10 episodes and they all are fantastic.
Yeah, I totally thought this show was about something else.
What did you think?
I thought it was a Bruce Wayne origin story.
What? Why?
I don't know. When I saw Wayne, I was like, oh, he's going to show how he grew up as a kid.
Could have been John Wayne. Could have been anything.
I know. I just went immediately to Bruce Wayne. So when you start being here's what it is, and you're like, I was like, oh, I was totally wrong.
you know what?
That would have been a great surprise, though, if I would have just started watching it. I would have been like, so where does his parents get killed? What's going on in
This
here?
doesn't look like Gotham.
Exactly. Wow. That's interesting.
Steve Hudson, ladies and gentlemen.
That's interesting.
I want to talk about this one more, and I know I feel like I'm talking fast at this point, but I know that we have limited time, and there's several things that I want to get out. So, secondly, and I think I'm going to go in this order on purpose because I do have some things to say about it. I watched M. Night Shyamalan's Glass, Steve, the sequel to Unbreakable and Split. Watch this, and
yeah, what do you think? Gee, I've heard
you laugh. Why do you laugh?
Because I can't get a sense of if it's good or not. Because one person will say it was great, that I trust their opinion, and then another person who I trust their opinion will be like, "Do not go see this movie. You will be very disappointed." I'm like, okay, so what? Like, no one is just, there is not a level in the middle where it's just like, okay, this is the gist. Everyone's everywhere with this movie.
Well, let me ask you this. What did you think of the first two?
I didn't really like Unbreakable. People loved Unbreakable. I thought it was slow and just not that great. I loved Split.
Okay.
I loved Split. I think I liked it more than a lot of people liked it. Because when he started actually turning, I was like, oh my God. But other than that, that's all. I loved Split, though.
I loved Unbreakable much more than I probably should have. I just loved that movie when it came out. I saw it in theaters, and it's one of my favorite Shyamalan movies. It probably is my favorite Shyamalan movie, actually.
Oh, wow.
And Split is really good, too. I was super surprised at how McAvoy gets down.
Whew, that brother.
The way that he's able to turn into those characters
so good.
At the drop of a hat, dude, is just it was great. And I just loved Hedwig. And that was one of my favorite characters.
And he hid his muscle. Like,
yes, when he
was in his dress, he made sure to somehow not look muscular. And you have to walk a certain way to do that. But then when he took off his shirt, his shoulders did a whole, I was like, oh, snap.
Dude was working on his traps and his lats.
Everything.
Nobody's business, dude.
So good, dude.
Yeah. When he turns into the beast, spoilers if you haven't seen it, it's something impressive, man. Like, I really like how they did, and I'm talking about Split. I liked how they added the veins and everything to it, and it's downright scary. Yeah.
When he bit those bars, I was like, oh my God. But anyway, yes, good move.
So I watched Split, and of course, like most of the world, didn't expect that these two are going to be connected.
Yes.
So when they were connected at the very end, it's one of the very few times in a theater where I literally went, yeah! Like, I literally said that because...
My man!
I wasn't... Yeah, my man! Gonna go eat some sea critters. I wasn't expecting, that to be the case.
Uh-huh.
And when it happened, it just made me that much more into it. I went back home. I watched Unbreakable. Then I watched Split. I went to the theater to see it twice. And I just love that movie. Some people, not so much, but that really is a great movie to me. I think it's one of my favorite Shyamalan movies. So now this leads us to the third part of the trilogy.
Yes.
That no one was really expecting until they saw the very end of Split.
Mm-hmm.
And I've only seen it one time, and I'll probably go and see this one again. And I definitely will go see this one again. And I'm not giving my rating or anything yet. I'm just saying that I think I need to see it one more time. Okay. Maybe even twice. But, okay, screw it. I'm going to go ahead and just tell you, I absolutely love this movie.
Oh, good. Good.
I did.
Okay.
I think Glass was great. It wasn't exactly... Okay, let me start from the beginning. First of all, let me just tell you that I think that this movie is definitely a love letter to the other ones. You know what I mean? And it's a love letter to the people that enjoyed the first two. It's just that towards the end of the movie, it did something that I wasn't expecting, and that doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing. Okay. Let me talk about it a little bit real quick. Glass stars James McAvoy as Kevin Wendell Crumb, among many other people. There's a whole bunch of... there's one thing in the movie that it's not really a spoiler, but when you get to the end of the movie and they're doing the credits, watch for James McAvoy, because it's like, oh, wow, you certainly did a lot, sir. Like, out of the 3 characters, James McAvoy shines out of all of them. Okay. I love seeing... And speaking of Dunn Dilser, I like seeing David Dunn in it, too. I think that... Bruce Willis did a fine job, recreating David Dunn, or the Overseer, as they're calling him in this one here. And of course, Samuel L. Jackson's Mr. Glass was great too, or Elijah Price, depending on what you want to call him. But this movie, what I really liked about it is that it wrapped things up nicely.
Okay.
Personally, I don't think that there's going to be a sequel. It leaves it in an area where, okay, I guess we could do something with this if we want to. But the way that it wraps up, it shouldn't be. Like, in my opinion, I don't know. I would be kind of unhappy about it if they did. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Sarah Paulson plays Dr. Ellie Staples. She's a psychiatrist. Her. Yeah, I love her too. But she's a psychiatrist that specializes in delusions of grandeur, particularly with people that think that they're superheroes. So... At first, when I'm watching this, I'm kind of like, okay, well, I guess that's a thing. I guess there's just a whole bunch of people out there. Like, it was one of those times in the movie where I had to go, okay, it's because it's this movie, that whole suspension of disbelief thing. There is apparently a need for this, is what I'm getting at. But the way that they bring her character, in full circle, there's totally a need for it.
Okay.
And that's all I'm going to say about it. But Sarah Paulson's great in this movie. She's kind of great in everything. She was even great for the short time that she was in Bird Box.
Yes.
Like, there's just one scene, and you know what I'm talking about with the eyes.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, oh, shit. Well, Sarah Paulson, there she goes. She's killing it. But Anya Taylor-Joy comes back as Casey Cook, who was the teenage girl that was kidnapped by, the Beast, Kevin Wendell Crumb's alter ego. And there was also another character that pops back up in the movie that I'm not going to say, but I was, okay, all right. That's kind of cool that they brought things around. But the way that they do this movie, they use a lot of footage that you wouldn't expect for them to use, that they use it so well that it's very seamless. And fuck it, I'll just tell you. So, what's his name? It's, sorry, I'm just blanking real quick. It's Spencer Treat Clark is in the movie, who plays Joseph Dunn. So you see the grown-up version of Joseph Dunn in this movie too. I'm not going to give you any of the plot of it, but I can tell you that this movie is not what critics are saying, guys. Like, I don't really understand. I don't understand how... fuck it, I'll do it again. I don't understand how they're raving about Aquaman, but they're saying that this movie is a big pile of garbage. And, whatever, opinions are opinions, but this movie is nowhere near a pile of garbage. It's really fun. Some people... Everyone that I've talked to about this movie says that it's great. They may say, oh, well, I liked it. Maybe I liked Split more, or maybe I liked Unbreakable more. But I have not met one person or talked to one person yet that says this movie's garbage. I've read it a whole bunch of times, but don't believe that. Like, go see the movie. I never, ever believe what critics say, because sometimes I think they're doing it just to be like contradictory to it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Something, they're setting themselves apart so hey, read my article kind of thing. That said, they're all opinions, man. But I think it's just, this movie's a freaking bunch of fun. And even though the movie ends up in a way that I didn't expect it to at the climax of the movie, it's still so well done. And it leaves you thinking a little bit. The ending is one of the things that I want to go watch it again, because there's just certain things in there that I think that I could probably understand a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But I got the gist of it. But yeah, dude, I would highly recommend checking out this movie. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one... I'm going to be generic with it. I'm going to give this one, I'm giving it 3.5 out of 5 comic books.
That's a good, solid.
Yeah, I'm not going to get crazy.
That's what I was looking for. I think he's going to give it a 3.5.
Yeah, I'm not going to get crazy with it, but it was really good. This movie, dude, it cost $5 million to make, Steve, and it's already grossed like over $98.5 million.
Self-funded.
Box office. Self-funded. Like, he took many a chance on this movie, man. He could have gone broke many times in his career.
I'm very eager to see if this beats, because my favorite of his is Signs. And
Signs was fantastic.
And I don't think I've jumped that much in a theater as when there's at that party and that thing walks across the screen.
Yeah.
I said, yo, when that dude was like, I had the same reaction as Joaquin Phoenix. I literally just jumped back in my seat. Like, I was like, oh, they're showing aliens. And The Visit was incredible to me. That's
so good.
And I love horror, so it's very hard to impress me. But that scene under the house, dude, it was over for me, dude. I said, get out from under that house yesterday.
There are some really cringy scenes in that one. I don't mean cringy in a bad way. I'm talking about, and I won't give it away. Because, guys, if you have not seen The Visit, check this out. It is unlike most Shyamalan movies, is what I can tell you. It's so entertaining, first of all. But the quote-unquote grandpa at the end in the kitchen, what he does to the kid, haunts me to this very day.
Bruh,
it just haunts me.
So good. And so I'm very eager to see Glass. Since you co-signed it, I'm going to see it.
Definitely co-sign it, man. And like I said, I'm going to go check it out a couple of times. I think it's a great ending to a trilogy, and I hope that they keep it like that. I don't think they should do any more, but if they do, he better be creative with it because, it seems like his career can turn on a dime. Yeah. I think he should just stick where he is right now because he's doing fine with this one. Do something else. One more to talk about, Steve, and this one is something that I think is right up your alley. I don't know if you participated this week, but we'll find out in just a second here. So, Shudder. Let's talk about Shudder for a second, guys. We've talked about it many times on the show, and Shudder has so much to offer. The subscription, it's like $47 a year. I think it's like $4.99 a month, and if you buy it all at once, it comes out to like $3.99 a month. It is so well worth it. But there's one thing that I said when I first got it, but I didn't see any of them yet, and it is that the fact that there are podcasts on there as well. Mm-hmm. So turns out there's one that has been there from what I think is like October. And I just happened to stumble on it, man. And I'm telling you, dude, if you have not listened to this yet, well, I guess we'll find out. Maybe you did. I absolutely fell in love with this one. It's created exclusively for Shudder by Nick Braccia and also the creator of the Blair Witch Project, Steve, Michael Manello. Mm-hmm. Co-written and directed by Ben Rock, who did 20 Seconds to Live and Alien Raiders, and co-written by Bob DeRosa, who did Killers and White Collar. It's a 10-part series that chronicles a young couple's investigation into origins of a mysterious VHS tape and the infamous video store, which is called the Video Palace, from which it came. All episodes of Video Palace, along with 5 extended interview scenes, are available now on Shudder exclusively for its members. But fear not, ladies and gentlemen, because you can listen to this on Apple Podcasts as well as other platforms too. But let's talk about this for a second, Steve. Before I go on, have you listened to Video Palace, Steve?
I listened to 2 episodes.
So before I go, what did you think?
I'd rather you go first.
Well, now I'm interested in what you have to say, but I'll go ahead and say it. So, all right. So, I have listened to the whole thing. It took me just a couple days to listen to. Each episode is roughly 20 minutes, let's say. Yep. And what I liked about this one is that it's in a documentary format. You clearly know that there's fiction involved with this one here, but it's I really fell in love with it. It's kind of like if Serial met horror, or it's like found footage or something like that. It's like a found footage version of a podcast. The cast is Chase Williamson, Devin Siddell, Bonita Frediersi. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but it's who plays, actually, Steve, we're tying up to Preacher. She played Mrs. Loach on Preacher. Mm-hmm. There's Larry Cedar, who's in The Twilight Zone, the movie. Leon Russum, Man in the Woods, in A Quiet Place. You know that guy? The guy that, did the thing that he told him not to do in The Quiet Place. And then Justin Welborn in Beyond the Gates. This is so creative to me. I enjoyed it immensely. Mm-hmm. I thought the story was just very original, and I liked how it had, there's always been this thing that I've liked about the forbidden thing that you should not do. You know what I mean? A good example of it, or let's just say an example of it, would be something like Dead Wax that's on horror, where there's this folklore around a vinyl that you shouldn't listen to, and if you do, bad shit's going to go down. So it's one of those kind of things. Mark Cambria, who's the main character, finds this tape, this VHS tape that they have called the White Tapes. It's very well known, I should say, amongst collectors. There's a certain demographic of people that are very into these tapes, and they're trying to track them down. Mark becomes very involved with this here, and he actually decides he's going to make a podcast about it. So with his girlfriend Tamara, they set out to investigate the tape's origin, and they find themselves like caught up in this crazy ass story. Mark begins speaking in his sleep, speaking a different language, and I'm not going to tell you guys the rest of the story because that would be kind of weird, don't you think? But what I liked about this story is that I just wanted to listen every single time it ended. I wanted it not to end. I fell asleep a couple of times to it because I was super tired, and I was sitting there listening to it in bed, and I had to go back and listen to it again. But I think that just made the story that much better for me. You know what I mean? Audiobooks do that to me. Podcasts do that to me. If I'm laying down, I'm out. But I listened to it at the gym, and I was really able to like follow along with it. And it just tells this amazing story, man. Like, it's so entertaining to me. Leaves it where I think we're going to get some more out of this. I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm hoping that they do. There's some things that I really am not at liberty to talk about yet with this show, but I'm very excited to tell you guys that I'll be talking about this in detail in the very near future, and that's all I'm going to say about it. But I can't say enough although I have to at this point because I know we're running out of time for Steve. But Video Palace, guys, check this out. Again, you can check it out on iTunes. It's exclusive to Shudder, and it is so well worth it. Oh, what I was getting at, Steve, is it's kind of like Serial, to me, is like Serial meets No Sleep. That's what I was actually trying to get at earlier.
Okay.
But I'm going to go ahead and give this one 4.5 out of 5 white tapes because I think it's that good.
Okay. Now, first of all, let me first be upfront. I haven't finished it. I have not finished this podcast. And also, I am a super duper horror aficionado on podcast. I listen to a bunch of podcasts that are horror. So obviously, I'm going to be, if anything runs, like I've probably heard a story before. That's just the reality. I've probably heard something similar because I listen to more than people should because I'm alone most of the night, right? So I can just listen to a million podcasts. And so there is similarities between this story and the Black Tapes. There's a show called The Black Tapes. And they kind of, there are similarities, but I was able to push that out my head because, look, who's going to be able to listen to that many podcasts? Who? That many horror podcasts. So I went in with an open mind because Dan said, hey, you should check this out. And all that being said, I think they did a good job. I think that the narration is good. I think that the story is very interesting. And it's a very hard thing to when you have something called the White Tapes, they know that there's a very, very popular horror podcast called The Black Tapes. And they were able to somehow they were able to be like, well, let's try to carve it out. Because I'm almost sure that they started this story not knowing that the White or Black Tapes existed or whatever. But I found myself still being like, similar kind of story, but good job. I think the writing is solid. I think the actors are, I've listened to horror things where it sounds like they're reading. These actors don't sound like they're reading. They sound like they're just talking. They had Adam Green, and I love Adam Green because he's directed all 3 of the Hatchets. He's done a lot of my favorite horror movies. So when they introduced him in the very beginning, I was like, oh, I know that guy. So I could see how someone who's really into horror would think that this is real. Because Adam Green is a real person, and we've seen his real horror movie. Anyone who's in the super duper niche horror knows who Adam Green is. And so I'm like, wait a minute. I know him. And so I could see how someone could think it was real. And I think that is very well done when you sit there and be like, this is this person. You're like, okay, that's a real person. This is this person who's going to be helping us. Oh yeah, that's a real person. And when he calls them and they're like, yeah, I heard about this story. It sounds like they gave them an overview of what they want him to say. But then they said, but riff, don't read a script. Just act as if this is a real thing. And I think it's a very fun romp so far. And mind you, I am the person that would rip apart a horror podcast because I've heard great horror podcasts, like great. And so, I'm the one that's going to be way harder on horror podcasts than anyone. And they did a good job. I don't think people understand how hard what they're doing is. I don't think people will get it. Like if people are like, oh, it's okay. But me knowing horror, what they're doing is really, really difficult. Being able to set up a suspenseful thing and not just say, ta-da-da at the end of a story, but saying, hey, if you want to hear what happens next, listen to the next episode. Being able to make someone want to listen to the next episode of a horror podcast is very difficult. It's way easier to make short snippets of 20-minute, 1 hour like stories because there's a beginning and an end. This end is a long, a 200-minute story. That is a long time for a horror podcast. And so far, they have my attention. I want to know what happens next. What is on these tapes? What's going on with this? Who's the husband? What happened to that guy? Did he disappear? Did he left? That whole thing. I'm like, well, this is interesting. And I really did think I had this pigeonhole. I thought I had this nailed. I'm like, oh, I know this story. But the further they went into it, I'm like, oh, I don't know this story. And then they go a little further and I'm like, oh, I really don't know this story. And oddly enough, you know how I get stupid deep into stuff for no reason. I went on to the Reddit page for this show and I started reading the comments. And obviously some people were like, yeah, it sounds like the Black Tapes, but I really like it. I'm like, yeah, the same with me. And then the person who plays the girlfriend got into the conversation. she's like, I'm really glad you guys liked it. I played the girlfriend. And so there was a lot of questions asked of her. And that, even though it has nothing to do with the show, that means something to me. When someone is like, I want to know what people think of my show.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Sorry to cut you off, but I noticed that on Reddit as well.
Yeah, that means something to me. So I'm just like, okay, cool. And I don't know, I just, the more I listened, the more I was just like, oh, I know where this is going. Oh, wait a minute. I know where this is going now. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, now I know exactly where this is going. Oh, wait a minute. And so I didn't expect that. I honestly expected I'm not going to dig this because I'm a horror aficionado. Wrong again. I think this is coming from a horror guy. If you're a super duper horror person, you're going to smell aspects of other horror podcast people. I'm talking to my horror fans. You're going to smell whiffs of other horror podcasts, but I assure you they're taking it a different direction. I'm 2 episodes in. I will come back and let you know if it ends in a way that I'm like, okay, it does this thing, but I don't think it will because they also are aware of other podcasts. They're also aware of other horror podcasts. And I think they are going to do a little switcheroo, and I'm very eager to see how they do it. So I'm pumped to talk about it as I finish the podcast and let you know what I think about it. But as of right now, they're really doing a fantastic job of holding an interest into another episode and making me want to keep listening because I would normally just stop. Dan only told me to listen to a minute or 2 of the first. He said, hey, just listen to this and tell me what you think. The fact that I then listen to another episode automatically tells me something because I have 100 things in the queue. And the fact that I was like, no, where does this go? And then after the second episode, if it wasn't that I had to do something else, I would have listened to a third. So I'm very eager to see where this goes. Great writing. Again, the actors don't sound like they're reading. They sound like they just said, here's an overview, act natural. And they're totally acting natural. There's a really good scene that I really liked in the second episode of a dude acting like a madman that sounded like a madman. I was like, oh, he sounds crazy. He sounds stone crazy, but now I want to know what's going on here? So I really am looking forward to finishing it. Thanks for the tip. And I look forward to giving you my overview as I finish.
Yeah, no worries, man. I know you got to go, but
yes.
I just want to add to that the fact that, yes, the acting is really, really good on this here. It's very convincing. I think that the chemistry between Chase Williamson and Devin Siddell, as far as, lovers off on this adventure, it's very convincing, man. It works. They don't, like Steve says, they don't sound like they're reading a script. It sounds like it's a real deal situation. I think it could fool some people if they weren't paying full attention to it and they were a little more
question,
gullible for those kind of things. You know what I'm saying? But as someone that's not as strong as a horror fan as Steve is, I wasn't sure what you were going to say about this one. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm completely sold on this. I can't wait for season 2. So guys, please listen to Video Palace.
Yes.
It's something that I think that a lot of people should hear that maybe they don't even know they should hear it yet.
Yeah.
But that's all I have to say about it. 4.5 out of 5 white tape, sir.
Also, in a side note, especially me being us doing this podcast group, support creators.
Absolutely.
Support creators. And I get it. I'm not saying that you have to like it, but people like this are pushing podcasts forward. They're going, Shudder, the fact that they're willing to say, hey, we're going to put podcasts on our platform. Give them, even if you're just like, for me, if I hear a musician and they do an album and I don't like it, I still give them props for giving it a go. And the fact that I know how hard it is to be a musician, just give them a listen. And make sure you say what you do like about it. I'm not saying to say, hey, you have to. No. Just check it out. Check out. This is a very new thing. We're going into a very interesting realm in horror podcasts. And I don't think we can have enough. And we sure can't have enough good ones because there aren't, I promise you, having listened, there aren't a lot of good horror podcasts. A lot of them think they're scary and they're not. This one takes a cool little turn. So please, for creators out there, check it out and tell them what you think. Seriously.
And if you do watch it on Shudder, one last thing, Steve, if you do watch it on Shudder, just know that there's some very cool visuals that go with it. I think you might have listened to it on iTunes, Steve, if I'm not mistaken.
I did, yeah.
But the visuals are very cool. They go along with it to some degree. And honestly, I think I got more of an experience out of it by listening to it just like in the audio version alone, because it does get a little bit on the repetitive side. But I give them points for the creativity and the
that's crazy.
The approach that they went to with the visual.
That's crazy.
So again, so Video Palace, is excellent. Check it out, guys.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, I must vacate the premises, but you know I love you. I'm going to be telling you what I've been listening to and watching next time. Guaranteed. Promise you. But for now, the next voice you're going to hear is from the most awesome editor, host, dude, cook, soon-to-be vegetarian on the face of this planet. I love you. Peace out.
All right, guys. Hey, we love you very much. I'm really glad that you guys like the Noiseys. Expect more from us in the future. Expect an announcement that I'm not ready to give yet regarding Video Palace. Hopefully coming very soon. Guys, have a great week. We'll see you soon. My name is Dan Ramirez. Be good to yourself. Be good to the people around you. Love one another and all that jazz. Peace.